Good morning, Tradeify Nation, and welcome to another edition of Tradeify TV. It is Wednesday. It is White Tea Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. It is 60 minutes before the New York opening bell. We were laughing and joking right before we came on stream here, so allow us to compose ourselves a little bit. But and while I do that, I'm going to pass it to Mr. White Tea himself, the man who inspired White Tea Wednesday. Swiss Nick. Nick, good morning.
I feel so good today seeing you guys all wear white tees. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Miriam. And it's actually surprising that Miriam got the white tee memo. I'm impressed, I must say.
Don't be too surprised.
Very impressed and happy about that. This is my favorite day of the week. The only downside of today is that we're not going to have a stream tomorrow or Friday. So this is the last of the week. So we better make this count. We better have a good stream. We have giveaways coming. We have Vola trades as a guest coming on. So it should be exciting. But as usual, let's kick it off with our one and only curly trader, Matcha Mami.
Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. It's kind of like a Friday for all of us, huh? Because, market's a half day tomorrow and then closed on Friday. So we are excited to get into it today. Yes, we do have a guest today as well. And we are very much excited for that. So stay tuned when that comes on. And yeah, let's just get on started today. But before we do that, please, if you haven't already, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and share it with a friend so that we can keep providing more value to you guys. All right. So let's get into it. We had a nice little drop this morning, huh? Matt, do you see any news on your end?
I just ADP employment report. I do feel though the need to pull back the curtain a little bit on what happens we're coming on today. So, and actually we've talked about at some point, maybe one or all three of us will stream some of our morning shenanigans. So we usually start rolling into the little studio that we do usually 20 minutes before the show. We'll talk about guests. We'll do hey, we'll catch up. Hey, Nick, how was the European? We're always asking Nick about how was the European session, since he's getting been trading for the last few hours, and I'm waking up. Miriam's still waking up, but we were just talking, and we were noticing these new YouTube features, and so we were kind of cracking some jokes on that, and we all just did not look at anything, and all of a sudden I hear Drew in the background go, "Oh shit, 3, 2, 1." So that's why we were all laughing when we came on stream. But yeah, guys, but we do like to have fun around here. I think you guys get that from the tone and the tenor of we have this show. But yes, I see Vola in the chat today. Looking forward to talking with him in a little bit. At some point, they'll let us know what time he's coming on, so we'll give you a heads up on that. But yes, guys, it is Tradeify TV, which means we've got markets, we've got trades, we've got giveaways, we've got guests, we've got a whole lot of stuff, and it is our last show of the week. No stream on Thursday or Friday. So yeah, like Nick said, it is a little bit of Friday. But yeah, we had the ADP employment report come out, and that's basically about it. Although, as I was commenting to Nick, because Nick was the first one in here, and we were talking a little bit about 6:45 Central, so 7:45 Eastern, big volume spike, and then that led into a little bit of a downturn. We moved back up to +1 standard deviation, or -1 standard deviation off of VWAP, and then we've dropped pretty consistently from there when the ADP employment report came on. So honestly, I was searching like crazy for any kind of news that precipitated that big volume pop. It was about 45 minutes ago, and didn't really see anything. So that kind of tells me it might be one of those days today. But we did get a lot of chop yesterday, up until kind of, actually, it's been kind of a choppy week overall, but I'm expecting some good market action today. Now, keep in mind, guys, half day Thursday, no markets Friday. So we'll see if we've got a lot of geopolitical stuff going on and just politics in this country. Obviously, the big, beautiful bill is on the verge of potentially being passed in the next few days. So we'll see if that has any effect on the markets. We're probably getting a lot of signals today as to whether or not the House is going to take it up as is, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of tax stuff in there that's going to affect the markets if and when it passes. And of course, we always have all the other stuff that's going on as well. So could be a very chaotic, action-packed last full day. Again, this is the last full day of trading until Monday, guys. There probably will be some decent volume tomorrow, although I just make it a rule to not trade half days. And I know a lot of my fellow professional traders, whatever that means, are as well. But for the next few hours, we're going to be joining you, hopefully relatively drama-free here at Tradeify TV. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But that's about all we got going on there. So if you guys want to take a look at some of the longer-term charts and the indexes, and we'll come back to me. I'll load up gold and oil.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, let me go over NQ really quick, because we did have that drop here for whatever reason. I'm on the 1 hour chart right now. Key levels that I'm looking at right now, obviously we're very close to it, is at 22,600. And here's the thing, if the bulls want to go back up, they really need to take it from here, because this level was heavy on Friday the 27th of June. It was heavy yesterday, right, at 11 a.m. We had a pretty clean bounce from that level. It's also previous day low, so yesterday's low. And I wonder what's going to happen once we come back to it now. If we break this to the downside, I mean, there's room, honestly. Like there's a lot of room, and we still have this. Obviously, it would be surprising if that would happen today, but we still have that gap right here on the 1 hour chart that I still want to see filled in the next couple, maybe days, maybe weeks, who knows, but I still think this is going to fill at some point. So yeah, there is room to the downside, that's for sure. To the upside, obviously we have the weekly open that has formed an important level by now. We have the previous week high that is always important. So we also have this trend line coming down from the 30th of June, which was Monday. And that had already like 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points on the 1 hour chart. So this will be a pretty significant level as well. So these are the ones I'm looking at currently. I'm going to break down the London session after, but first, Miriam, why don't you go over ES really quick?
Yeah, so ES has been kind of an interesting one compared to NASDAQ recently. It's seeming like ES is kind of respecting a lot of these levels a lot better than the NASDAQ, in my opinion. But right now we actually are breaking this trend line, or we have been breaking this trend line on the 1 hour. And the 600 level, as you mentioned, Nick, is a significant level on the NASDAQ. So I think ES has been a little bit of the stronger one recently. And as we are kind of coming to the 600 level, I'm curious what we're going to do, because ES has really tried to really make continual all-time highs, and I feel like NASDAQ has been the lagging one here. So I think if NASDAQ continues to push into the 600 and possibly continue further here, we do have room. We do have this 4 hour zone though that I do want to mention, and it's at this 22,550 area. So right now we are kind of pushing into it. Now I did actually, to be fully transparent, I did take a short at this 621 area right now. So I am currently in a short. I was trying to log in just now just to show you guys my position, but I am kind of targeting this zone right here, this 4 hour zone. So if we can, which we are getting the selling pressure coming in here, if we can get down here, I think there's a possible reaction that we'll see at the 550s. But I think, that if we get into this level here on the NASDAQ, I think we have a lot of room to fill this wick here on Thursday. We had this nice little wick that we could possibly get down to. Now, I'm actually going to take off a little bit of my position here. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so I expect us to possibly get down here. Now, ES does have this level sitting here at 6226, 6227 that we could possibly bounce out. You guys can see here it has a nice level of support here. That was the previous day low. It's continually been a place of reaction. So we do also have this 1 hour zone sitting at 6224 that we could also bounce at. But again, right now we're kind of moving to the downside here, guys. So I'm not really having a lot of conviction on bulls holding this, especially if we can't get above the 600 level on the NASDAQ. But we'll see what we get today. So I'm going to try to log into my charts here so you guys can follow this along with me.
You're already, while you're doing the pre-market talk, you're already up like what, 30 points now?
Yeah.
Nice, congrats, good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, while you log in, we could have Matt go over the others.
Let's do that.
Then
Yeah, let's go over to, so let's take a look at oil. Oil hasn't been, we haven't had anything to talk about in oil for a couple days. Today, we're kind of up at this 66.40, 66.50 level, in attempting to break out, although this latest 1 hour candle is sort of banging its head up on that level. If we begin a full on retrace here, I think we got room down to 64. So that's a couple bucks. That could be a nice swing in oil. We got to wait for this candle to close, but we're basically looking at a potential bearish engulfing candle after a small selling tail here. So that could be a nice little bearish reversal pattern here on oil. As far as gold goes, hold on, let me go ahead. Oh, wow, there we go. Gold retracing off its highs here at about 33.68, but we're making a run back up, and this could be a trader, guys. If the indexes, which they're just giving up level after level here, and we're still 45 minutes from the New York Open, gold could be a flight to safety. And again, as far as the indexes go, guys, again, think about not every, but most Fridays over the past few months, we've seen some level of selling, right? Because with tariffs, with the Iran-Israel situation, which at least seems to be on the back burner for now, with any sort of politics in this country, or legislation in this country, or geopolitics outside the country, not a lot of big money wants to have a ton of long exposure on the weekends. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going short, doesn't mean they're taking short positions, but they're certainly been selling some of their longs. Now, again, keep in mind, we're going to have 4 days without a regular trading session, right? We have a half session tomorrow. Markets are basically shut down across the board until Sunday night when the futures reopen. So there may very well be a scenario where a lot of big monies are saying, you know what, let's take a little bit off as we go into the weekend, right? Let's take a little bit, of our long position, especially if they've been long over the course of the last few weeks. We hit new all-time highs across the board. It makes a lot of sense. And so that'll be interesting for me to follow gold, because if they're getting out of equities and getting into gold, if we see some sector rotation there, that tells me they may be preparing for a little bit of a downturn as things go forward. Nick and I were talking a little bit before the markets, and we've got earnings starting back up in a couple of weeks. Those earnings aren't necessarily going to reflect a lot of the tariffs that have already been put into place yet in June, because again, there's just not that much time. But I think this is going to be the point. A lot of CEOs have been deflecting on tariffs in the last couple of earnings calls, as Trump has been talking about them, implementing them, taking them off, putting them back on, adjusting them, whatever the case may be. And most CEOs have gotten away with sort of deflecting. Now, we're not going to pass it doesn't really affect us. We're not going to pass the costs on to consumers, et cetera, et cetera. I have a feeling that they're going to get called on a lot of that stuff over the course of the next few weeks. But we'll see. Again, wouldn't be the first time I've been proven wrong. At least probably not even today. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward. But again, I really liked our interview with Tom last Friday, and if you missed that, I encourage you to go check that out, because he did a great job, and I think talked about the relationship between the fundamentals and technicals better than I ever have. He just phrased it very, very well. So I encourage you to do that as well. Also encourage you to go check out Tank's interview yesterday. If you missed it, it was Tank Tuesday. Fantastic hour plus we spent with Tank. And then obviously we got Vola trades for you guys today. So wow, it's a short week, guys, but it's been a action-packed week here at Tradeify TV. But I think we're going to get some great opportunities today. Miriam, of course, already beating up the markets. So how's that trade looking for you?
Yeah, so I got stopped out on a little bit of them. I still have 2 more positions here. Let me just make sure that I got this right. Yeah, I got my buy stops in there. Okay. Yep. So I have 2 more positions in here, which it looks like they kind of want to hold this level. So I might get stopped out on the rest of my trade here. Which we're sitting pretty nice on this so far. But yeah, I got a nice let's see, got in at 22. Where's that? 22,620, and I just got stopped out on the rest of that trade here. Well, actually, I have one more, but yeah, so right now we are completely out of this trade, but yeah, I got a nice like 30 points out of that. But we are very much holding the 600 level. So I think if we can close this 15-minute above 600. I don't want to say bulls have a big chance here, but I think they can at least, attempt to get us back up to maybe VWAP, which is sitting at 700. So, let's keep an eye on this level. The 600 level is going to be key for today, I think, in my opinion. ES is still, we're still above those levels that I think are going to be pretty critical for bulls to hold today. And again, I don't have a lot of conviction on today just because, it's the end of the week. Technically the last full trading day. Right now, I think we still have some resistance though that we need to get above, right? 625 is going to be that area that I think we still have a chance for us to reject. And if we can get above 650, I think there's a little bit more room for us to potentially move higher. But again, this 625, until we can get above 625 on the NASDAQ, I think we might keep pushing lower here. Again, this demand zone is going to be very much on watch today. So I'm gonna be watchful of potential bearish moves today. Especially since we haven't been having such a great pre-market here for the bears or for the bulls. Let me see what we have in terms of the data today. So we have we have the ADP. We have the ADP employment. Crude oil inventories is coming out. It's not a red folder news, but definitely something that could potentially, move oil, at least if you guys are trading oil. That's coming out at 10:30 Eastern. So yeah, still getting that rejection here at 625. I think bulls are kind of struggling here. If we get back down below 600, again, clear shot to this 550 area. So I'm going to watch this potentially for a re-entry, to be honest. Let's see.
Yeah. Also keep in mind, guys, it's NFP tomorrow. So even though it's a half day, it's still a significant day. Not as usual.
I won't be trading tomorrow. I'm taking the day off. Yeah, guys, this is if we really take off when the market opens, then we're gonna have Vola on, and just in case we get lost in a lot of stuff, it's just something that I was kind of thinking of. We got a 4-day weekend coming up, guys. If you need the break, take it, for goodness sakes. Like, this is a lot of the conversations the three of us have behind the scenes, just kind of talking about balancing trading and life with the show and all of that. And guys, this is even if you're just a trader, just by yourself, you're watching this show, whatever, don't feel like you need, like, I got to be in the market somewhere, I'm so close to passing this year. Guys, it's okay. I'm not saying if you're home anyway and you see a nice opportunity to take it or not take it, but like, real mental breaks in this business are really hard to come by. So when you have an opportunity, this is the way the calendar sets up, guys, is perfect. You can have 4 days and you miss like 3 hours of market action, or a little more when you figure it over. But you know what I'm saying. And it's a unique opportunity to completely unwind, decompress, go do something fun with your significant other, or just by yourself if you're single, right? Just go what, I don't know, if you live near a city, go to a ball game, or go to that bar you've wanted to go to, or go to Top Golf, whatever, right? The ability to shut your brain off temporarily in this business is one of the most valuable skills, and it takes training, especially if your mind is as chaotic as mine is. I'll be sitting in bed at night, fiance's asleep, and I'll be like, oh man, yeah, this opportunity, then I missed this at 10:30, or, oh yeah, that was a nice trade, man, I should have held it, right? Like, you're staring at the ceiling, running through your trades, or in some case I'm running through the show and, okay, what can we do a little better, or et cetera, et cetera. Guys, just if you have the time, the ability, whatever, shut it down for a few days, right? And just be able to decompress. And I promise you will. If you're able to truly do that, I promise you will sit down. Whether it's you want to sit down Sunday night and kind of get ready for the week, as I like to do, or Monday, and just you will feel so refreshed. You will be. It's like looking through a window that's dirty as hell, and you're going to take a few days and clean that window, and all of a sudden it's so much easier to see what's going on out there, right? So just truly take my advice if you're able. I understand you may have other your regular job or kid, whatever. Just try to find even a few hours over the next 4 days to decompress. So I just wanted to say that, guys, because if we get kind of chaotic in this show, and I don't want to miss that. So just end of rant.
We love it.
Also, as usual, we want to reward you guys who are up and early. Dang it. I got to
It's
start
starting.
over. Okay.
All right, can we start the countdown back in, Drew?
Yeah.
Let's just start over.
3, 2, 1. All right. Good morning, Tradeify Nation. No, we obviously want to reward you guys who are here up early and with us, starting Tradeify TV, and want to do a quick flash giveaway if we hit 250 likes. All right, we're sitting at, actually no, we did 211 yesterday. Let's do 250. All right, so if you haven't already, smash that like button really quick, and we're gonna do a giveaway for, let's do 150k growth account. All right, so smash that like button really quick, and I'll drop a keyword in a couple minutes or seconds, depending on how fast you get us to 250. Joker Joy coming with the Scorpio keyword. Where are my sunflowers here, guys?
Oh my gosh, the sunflowers.
You should have told that. He's not going to let that die.
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Of course not.
My poor mother.
Well,
it's not sunflower, guys. It's not the key.
That's not the keyword.
Love it. I love it. Now we're starting a chain
now
reaction.
Everyone's
here.
gonna just everyone's looking at what
reaction.
everyone else is writing and they're just going with it.
Yep. Yeah, we're at 250 likes now. But sunflower is not the keyword, but feel free to type it if you want.
I love it. Y'all are funny.
I just need to set this up in the back end here really quick with Drew. And at this point, quick shout out to producer Drew, who's crushing it this week, all on his own without background Nick for help. So give Drew a quick shout in the chat here. Give us a quick Drew.
Now and obviously it's a work trip for background Nick, but I hope that does not keep our fine chat from giving him as much shit as possible when he gets back on Monday.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, it's not a vacation, but you guys can taunt him for being on vacation for a week, just to make it. We like to have fun with background Nick.
That's hilarious. Yeah. He's still somewhere in the chat. I know he's
lurking. I don't know if they have meetings this morning, but he's got to be lurking. So you just ask him, where'd you go for your vacation, LA?
LA.
Can we make one stream where we don't have that word in? I don't think so.
No.
Well,
I still can't believe I got
Okay, I'll make you a deal, Nick. The day you wear another colored shirt, I won't do LA.
LA.
Never mind then. All right, we're sitting at 250. Actually, way more than 250 now. But you guys made it. So let's do a quick flash giveaway here for a 150k growth account. Okay. The keyword, and as usual, you have to make sure that you have liked the stream. You have to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and you drop the keyword WTW for YT Wednesday. Good luck, guys. 150k growth account, flash giveaway. Be fast. Don't miss this.
WTW. I like it.
Where'd your screen go, Mary?
What do you mean?
There it is. Drew pulled up the giveaway. I thought we lost your screen.
Oh.
You're all good.
I'm fine.
You're fine. No issues on your end. All right, let's give them a couple seconds. Since this is a flash giveaway. I like this bear flag setup here in the 1 minute though, on NQ.
Does look good.
It does look very good.
Very, very good.
Very good, okay. All right, Drew, let's give them 5 more seconds and then pick one whenever you feel like it. 260 entries plus. All right, is that wait, My eyes are so bad. Okay, it's Roald. Roald. Congratulations, Roald. You won a 150K growth account. Make sure to type something in the chat really quick. Everybody else still typing WTW. You can stop now because it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, if you're already behind on the stream, guys, I don't know what to tell you at this point. We literally have a clock in the upper left-hand corner.
Yep. Roald, also make sure that you add your email address to your YouTube channel description so we can reach out to you and actually send you your code. I see you already have it in there, so that's good. But keep in mind, since Background Nick is out this week, he's going to send it to you next week. Okay.
All right, guys, we're about a little over 30 minutes from the New York Open. We've kind of settled in a little bit here on the indexes. I hope our biggest move of the day didn't come 45 minutes before the New York Open. That would really and truly suck.
Yes. Yeah, let's see. We're kind of just hovering at the 600 area. We do, like I said, need to get back up above 625 for us to really see any sort of change in sentiment here, but let's see what we get.
I like how this flag is forming. I really like it.
So you're looking for a downside play here?
Yes. It is dangerous because we're still holding that 22,600 level, but I do see a lot of room to the downside. I mean, the next important level here is the 22,548, like 550 level. So there is room for 50 points before anything significant happens, to be fair.
Kind of a boring news feed this morning after the ADP numbers. Again, as Nick said, keep them on. Non-farm is tomorrow. I'm sure Background Nick will be full porting into accounts, even from New York on that one. But for most of us, myself included, we'll deal with the fallout on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be coming on Monday and just like, yeah, guys, I passed like 150 evals from all the firms.
Yeah.
Full port NFP. No, don't do it unless you're Background Nick. Then you do it.
Ooh.
Oop, there's that breaky.
Nice little retest of the EMAs here.
Did you just say breaky?
Yeah, as Miriam would say it.
That's what I would say. You're stealing my lines here, my G.
Hey, I'm glad I did not take that short.
Yikes, what the?
Well, it is top of the hour. Let me check the news. I don't see much of anything. All right, what Trump do?
What did he do?
What are you doing?
No, I knew that was coming. Right when I was saying it, I was like, oh, fuck. Nope. Oh, yeah.
I do think we need Dr. Phil as press secretary, though. I think that would be highly entertaining.
We need him as a guest on Tradeify TV. That's what we need.
That would be amazing.
I would definitely get fired on that episode. Because I'd talk back to him as him. I think
right, that's what you kind of have to. You kind of have to.
Yeah. He would say something, are you insane?
One darnation.
No, man.
Yeah, listen, that's my bad. I should have become a lawyer and got Oprah out of being sued. I'd have a talk show by now.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, also, guys, pretty soon we're going to have our guest coming on, Vola Trades. So I'm excited for that. I already see him in the back end, in the back room, setting up. So that's going to happen soon. And also, we are going to have more giveaways today for actually straight to funded accounts. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good day.
Oh, yeah. Straight to funded, guys. This is no joke.
Now, this is literally like getting money for free. When you win a straight to funded account, that's crazy.
It's cray cray.
Cray cray.
All right, so the spike was Tesla. Tesla reported good delivery numbers for the second quarter, so Tesla is now up 5%.
All right.
Oh wow, yeah, look at that.
Oof.
Sheesh.
Well, so they pretty much made up for the lost 5% from yesterday, huh?
That's a nice. If anyone took calls overnight, congratulations. You're gonna be up.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, we are blasting Tesla. Tesla's trying to go for previous day, or no? 625 or 325. All right.
Well, that could buoy the NQ today.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, NQ's already up 40 points from where we just were.
Yep.
Nice.
Right back at the -1 standard dev.
Crazy.
Well, and we thought it'd be a boring day.
Yeah.
So far not. So far not.
Sean Campbell, and one of the Tesla deliveries thanks to prop firms. That's sick, man. Congrats. Congrats.
Congrats. Grazie.
Hey.
Is that how you say it in German?
We say what?
Grazie? Grazie?
No, grazie is Italian.
Oh, is it? How do you say it in
Yeah.
German?
Dankeschön.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't you know the song?
Well, now I do.
Well, that's thank you. Or did you want to say congratulations?
Well, it's congratulations.
In German?
Yeah.
Gratulation.
All right. We're going to just stick with congrats.
Yeah, let's
stick with congrats. It's kind of better. I mean, German is a weird language, not gonna lie, and Swiss German is even weirder. Like
JS
English
says,
sounds,
what's your
so much more. It's like so much better.
What's your reference point or anchor for your STD? Man, I was clean last time I was tested, so that's I don't know what you're referring to there. So yeah,
in today's episode of Too Much Information,
I'm good.
Yikes.
Oh, standard deviation. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. The standard deviation's off VWAP, and VWAP is just for that day. So, yeah, I love how he felt the need to clarify that, like that wasn't a joke.
Oh,
yet
no.
Tradeify.
That was a fastball down the middle. I wouldn't let that pitch go.
It's not yet Tradeify After Dark.
In my public health classes, I remember they used to say it's not STD, it's STI. So STD is actually wrong.
Why
I don't know. It's been like 10 years since I've been in college, so
it's been long.
Could have changed back.
Another shameless remark. I mean, listen, all bullshit aside, that's something you should be doing every couple of years regardless. That's
yeah, definitely get your routine testing.
Yeah. Well, not just for stuff like that, but you go get a physical.
Totally.
You know.
Guys, we're 37 minutes in. 37.
Vola's looking at us in the background like, what the hell did I just get myself
like,
into?
What the fuck did I sign up for this morning?
Poor guy.
Well, I mean, it was longer than yesterday. Yesterday it took like 20 something minutes. So 37 is, I guess, okay. Forming a little bull flaggy here.
Well, hey, I'm always talking about the importance of mental health on this show, and if you have something legitimate, it's safe. Physical's the same. That's we laugh and joke, but physical, mental health, you gotta stay on it.
Let's see. We are forming a little bit of a bull flag on the 1 minute. This is, by the way, this is not a trade I'm in. This is just something I would look at. The one that you see on the screen.
Let's see.
Here's what I would love to see here for that setup. Actually, we could even write this up to like VU up or the highs here, but like 25 points. But here's what I would like to see is basically a push out of that flag, right? Then take a long, stop below the flag, and then target the highs here on the left. Wow, wow! How did I just draw that circle and miss it? There we go again. So that would be the trade idea here.
All right.
Man, we're just going to be cooking everything before the market's even officially open.
I like it.
Tesla's wicking a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm going to get that up on the 5 minute. So the number to watch on Tesla is kind of that 322.60 level. If it gets back above that, it's broken its high, and and we could run.
I am kind of eyeing this too, Nick. I do.
Nice. You and me both taking longs. What the fuck is that?
I know. What's happening on the stream?
One of us. One of us.
You wish.
I'm just sitting over here like Mr. Burns. Excellent.
Excellent.
They're
I would
falling
have a
in my trap.
pretty tight stop on this though, probably about 10 points.
You already in or what?
No, I'm not in. I have an order sitting at 42.
Okay.
So if we can get
Now my entry will be way worse than yours. Well, mine will be at like 52.
well, I'm looking at the 1 minute and I want to see VWAP's holding so far, but it doesn't look like I want to get it's gonna want to give me this entry here, so I'm gonna have to probably wait. But if we come down and get
down now. It's coming down now.
all right, so I just got filled on that 642.50 was my entry on that. So I'm gonna set my stop at 30. I'm gonna set it at 30. Yeah.
Stop at 30.
Yeah. So about 12 points.
Fair enough. What's the position size you're in?
You're gonna laugh at me.
Why?
Hey, Joker, I see your
Like,
question in there, and I would love to do a little bit of a dive on that. We're about to bring our guest on, and then obviously we have the open. If you're still with us in a couple of hours, would you please remind me of that? Or if you got someplace to go, maybe reach out on Monday, because I definitely want to address your question, because you're a regular and you and that's very legit a question. But I don't want to shortchange your question with a 2 minute response now.
Wait, are you in 5 minis, Miriam?
I sure am.
You are a beast.
What are you doing?
Let's see. Willing to take back my profits here.
Well, you already made like 1.5K, right?
Yeah. So I will be giving back pretty much my profits on this.
If it would hit your stop loss, but it's not over until it's over.
That would still put me up on the week, so I think I'm okay with this.
All right, guys, well, we got Miriam kind of managing her trade. As soon as she's out of the trade, we are going to bring on our guest.
Well, I think this could maybe take some time, actually. If it's going up, this is going to take some more time. So we could bring him on now already, if you want.
Do it.
That's all you, Nick. Do it.
No, that's you, Matt.
Oh, it's
You're
me?
the
Okay.
you're the intro, the god of intros with your nice movie voice.
He
You
said,
know,
"You do it."
you do it.
In a world with
You know what? I'll do it.
in a world
Introducing.
mediocre traders who do a morning show. All right, guys. So, one of somebody you've noticed in the chat quite a bit since Tradeify TV. Would you two shut up? I'm trying to intro our guest. So you've noticed Vola Trades has been a great contributor on chat, but he's also a trader, has his own channel, has a lot going on. And so we are excited to be joined by a volatility trader, Vola Trades for short. Let's give a big Tradeify TV welcome to Vola. Vola, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Vola?
Good morning.
You are muted, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there you are.
I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
There he is.
Good morning
How are y'all
to
doing?
you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Didn't sleep well last night. It's a good recipe for trading.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we love
I
that.
mean, sleep deprived, maybe under the influence of some sort of substance or two, is the best way to trade. I mean, you're just going to make the most rational decisions. That's a joke, by the way, for everybody who's out there. I don't want somebody to say, "Well, Matt, I didn't sleep last night and I got drunk first thing in the morning and I didn't make any money." No, don't email me. But so Vola, we always like to do something with guests on their first time here. It's a bit of a rite of passage, if you were. In a couple of minutes, just give us your background. What got you into trading? What were some of your early struggles and successes? And then what are you doing now?
It's hard to put into a couple minutes, but we'll figure it out.
Take all the time you want. We got a 4-hour show.
So I had, I was, or still am, a stay-at-home dad. And then I happened to get a little bored once the kids were starting to grow up, and I started playing games online. Is there a way to mute myself and not you guys? Here,
Oh, is it on YouTube? Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
if you're on.
No, not on YouTube. It's on the.
It just right click the tab.
Oh.
And, oh wait, no, that's not gonna
good
work. 'Cause you're gonna mute
Yeah,
us.
'cause then I can't hear you.
You can actually when you see your little preview screen there should be I don't know, some sort of a mic. All right, guys. Drew
I got it.
Drew is giving some instructions here in the back end. So
Yeah, sorry.
with us for
I
a
got
minute.
it. I got it. Thank you, Drew. All right, we'll start fresh real quick. Sorry about that. So I got so I was or am still a stay-at-home dad. I have 2 kids. They're now 9 and 7. But when I started trading, they were 2 and a couple months, and that kind of happened because I was playing video games actually, and I was kind of bored and felt like I wasn't really contributing. There's a whole backstory to why I was a stay-at-home dad, but the wife was the breadwinner at the time, so we decided to go that route. It was cheaper for me to stay at home and watch the kids versus sending them to daycare. So I was like, why not just raise the kids myself? And so I ended up watching a couple videos online. Buddy had kind of mentioned one of the gurus out there that there's many of them out there nowadays. And so I started watching, kind of saw the trap they set pretty quickly on, but it didn't not intrigue my senses of wanting to find out more about trading. Now, keep in mind, this was for equities, stocks. So I got my start over there. This was back in August 2018. I was heavily trading them until actually the end of 2023, which is kind of when I started in the futures market. And I had a profitable edge in stocks, but unfortunately, like a lot of edges over in stocks, is a lot of people that will trade equities. They'll let you know that over time, you kind of some edges just kind of disappear. And I was trading low float penny stocks. Those types, I was very short biased. I would look for the pumps. I would get on the backside and look for it to come back down. Worked very well until everyone started doing it, and then it just kind of started to disappear. You couldn't find shares to short, all that good stuff. So around the end of 2023, I was actually talking to someone you guys know, Chris, or Alpine Trader, and I decided to, I was just talking to him on Discord a bunch, and he was already trading futures. And I just happened, he was explaining the whole prop firm industry to me. So I was kind of skeptical at first, when he was explaining it to me, just as I'm sure everyone is when they first kind of get into the area. But once I started doing my homework and stuff, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. So bought my first, well, actually, to give him props, we don't really talk too much anymore, but he actually bought me my first prop account, and I actually passed that evaluation first try, got to pay out first try, and I don't want to say greedy, but I tried to build a buffer on said account, and I ended up not taking a payout on that account, and then I ended up blowing that account. So that was my first experience in the prop world. And it was actually very humbling because it made me respect that it wasn't just, it wasn't easy. Everything takes work, as we all know. But since the beginning of 2024, I've been trading futures. Full story. I'm very transparent over on my channel. I show literally everything. If anyone ever has a question about anything, I'm always an open book. And I've kind of kept that attitude throughout the journey of my channel, which I've been doing since I think February of 2019 or so. And I pretty much go live every day except for days like today where I'm live with you guys. So I know that wasn't a couple minutes, but there we go.
Well, we're very happy that you're here with us today. And it sounds like you kind of had a similar journey. Matt, you traded penny stocks, right? Or was it?
Yeah, more small caps. I wasn't like the 4 and 5 cent stocks. I was a little more in the $2 and $3 stocks, but same manipulation, same bullshit that goes on there that's in the penny stocks. But yeah, penny going back a little even before Vola's time in the market, but going back 11, 12 years, like penny stocks were what futures are now, right? Like that was the gateway drug, as it were, to trading in the markets. Because again, for those of us that are starting with even just $20,000 or $30,000, let alone $1,000 or $2,000, you can't. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you couldn't play in the futures market. You didn't have the liquidity. A lot of micros didn't exist at that time. So yeah, penny stocks were the gateway.
Yeah, when I say penny stocks too, I'm actually talking pretty much anything under $5. I don't think I ever traded anything under probably like 70, 80 cents, because that's when you start getting into too much volume for what I was looking for. I looked for lower volume type stuff, because once you get the high volume in penny stocks, that's when they can go a little crazy. And I don't, when you're looking to short something, you're not looking for crazy. You're looking for something a little more, not guaranteed, but you know what I'm saying. You're looking for the edge to be higher.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, so you kind of had this transition. So what would you say is, I guess let's get into it. Like, what's your strategy look like? What would you be looking at for a day on a day like today? I know we're kind of on a shorter week. So how do you trade typically on weeks like this?
So it doesn't really matter the week. I don't know if Drew can share my screen, but I actually took my strategy from trading equities and kind of just applied it to what I do in futures as well. And essentially I'm looking for extreme moves in one direction, and then I'm looking for it to rebound the other way. And the best way I like to describe that to anybody who asks is think of a rubber band. So the further a price extends away from its median, and the further it gets, the harder you pull that rubber band, usually the quicker it'll snap back. And I actually pulled up an example. I traded this yesterday. I'm not sure why I traded. Oh, maybe it's on the other account. No, it's not showing. I took this trade. So these are the Keltner channels. I don't rely on them super heavily, but it's kind of the way to keep me out of trouble. So like when I'm sitting here all day, if I think I see a big move, like let's just take this candle, for instance, like it looks like a big candle compared to what was going on. But in reality, I can use these Keltner channels that I have set up to show me that it wasn't as big as I thought. But then if we scroll over here, now we see the way that I have them personally set up, that we got a really big move and it went into the bands. And I've kind of, I can give you guys the settings that I use, or anyone who asks, but it's just the 13 EMA is the middle and 4 standard deviation for the actual bands. But I came up with that number just through months and months of back testing. And like I tell everyone, I literally would sit here with the NQ when I first started doing this, and I put, you know, these bands on my screen, and I would just backtrack. I would literally go like this on the 1 minute chart, and I would just, you know, I did it for hours and hours for months. And it was just how I found the exact settings that I was comfortable with. And where'd that trade go? Sorry. Oh, well, this is today. But I typically don't trade pre-market. I don't trade the open. I don't trade the news. I consider all of those price discovery modes. Pre-market, not so much. There's just usually not a lot of volume. I like a lot of volume as well, because like I said, the further you can stretch that rubber band, the higher the opportunity. I feel it'll come back in the direction you're looking for. So yeah, I mean, I'm basically just to shorten it up, I'm looking for a not a mean reversion per se, but I'm just looking for a quick scalp reversal type play. And I will use key areas as well. I call them $half whole dollars. That's something I picked up from just trading stocks, because I would typically look for in equities, when you break a $half whole dollar, that's usually a big deal, and that tends to be like a liquidity area or a possible support resistance area. I've noticed that actually happens a lot on the NASDAQ as well, which I am a NASDAQ junkie, as you guys would call.
Yay!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
We love it.
Yeah. So if you ever are watching I mean, it's like 650 right now, and then you got like 700 and 600. But if you ever watch those key areas on a big move that's happening, they do tend to get used. Sometimes not, you know, perfectly, but a lot of times they will tend to get used as support and resistance. A lot of people don't tend to look at that stuff, and that was just kind of something I picked up from trading stocks as well. But yeah, I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about my strategy and like how I apply it, and you know, the ins and outs of it, because it's my strategy. But in a nutshell, it's actually pretty easy. I just wait for the price to move towards the Keltner channels, and then I look for it to reverse, like if I were to put it into one sentence.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we will see something set up, and you can talk us through kind of what you look for as we head to the open, which we are now under 5 minutes from. So I like what you said about some of these big volatility events being, I hadn't heard that exact term applied before, price discovery zones. Talk a little more about that.
So yeah, price discovery, we don't, you guys have heard news come out and you're like, wow, that sounds really negative. But then the market goes up 200-300 points. You're like, what? Or you hear something that's like, whoa, like someone cured cancer, and the market goes down 1,000 points. You're like, what's going on here?
The big pharmaceutical stocks would definitely go down if that was the case.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So my big thing is when I know news is coming out, you know, no matter what it is, I know we have FOMC, we have all the normal like manufacturing, you know, like all that stuff. I don't know how to interpret those numbers. I never act like I know how to interpret those numbers. And sometimes I see that they're good, and like I said, the price will go down, and vice versa. But what I mean by price discovery is when the market is being directed by a news event, we have no idea where the market wants to be before and after that. So it could be straight up 500. It could be barcoding. It could be down 500. It could be up 50. It could be down 50. Like, we don't know. And until I see those first like 5, 10, 1 minute candles, I want nothing to do with it, because I'm going to let them figure it out. And as you guys will kind of figure out as we go through the morning, I do not ever try to predict where the market's going to go. I always react to what the market is doing.
I like that. Yeah, that's the best way of, you know, we don't ever want to try to predict anyways, and being reactive is more important, especially, you know, I'm guilty of this too, of being sucked into having a bias and then completely being blind to what could potentially have been a really great trade if I would have just seen the other side of it. You know, I know we have like about 3 minutes left here. So in terms of what you're looking at, then you would just be looking at price to get to one of those areas, right? And then kind of decide what to do, whether you're going to short, whether you're going to, would you typically short if we got to one of those bands, or like the top band, would you short it there, or would you, how would you look at that?
Yeah, so whenever we get to the top bands, I'm only looking for a short, and when we get to the bottom bands, I'm only looking for a long.
Okay.
And again, that's just because you're stretching that direction. And again, we could be in a trend and we could be going up, but the odds are, if you get a big move into those bands. Like I said, with the countless months of back testing, I've found that it's obviously not 100%. Nothing's 100%, but you can have a very high win rate, high probability chance that there's going to be some sort of a pullback before it continues, if it continues. And there's going to be times where it pulls back and I take my little scalp and it goes all the way. Like if I took a short and it goes all the way back to low a day, and everyone's like, well, why didn't you hold it? And it's like, well, that's not my edge. That's not my strategy.
Okay. All right. Well, we have about like
1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah, you're right. So I did take profit off at that 54 level here. So I'm only in less than half my position size here. I set my stop to about a little bit above break even here. So let's see what we get at the open. This is going to be a green trade. So
excellent.
Nice.
Congrats. I took an L on that though. I did take the bull flag break, but it reversed on me pretty much instantly. Took a small little loss, 15 points.
By the way, as we go into the open, Vola, and however long you're joining us for, if we're talking about something and you see something interesting, doesn't mean you take a trade order. Feel free to interrupt and jump in. So if there's anything chart-wise that you just think is interesting, you want to point out to the viewers. So, all right, guys. So yeah, we are closing in here. We are less than 20 seconds away. So we'll see. We'll see what the open has in store for us. A kind of a weird and chaotic. Last hour and a half before the New York Open, but it's going to be a fun one today, guys. So here we go. Ding, ding, motherfuckers.
Ding, ding, ding.
Let's go.
Also, Vola, very important question. What's in your aquarium back there?
Oh, I got several black mollies. I got bristlenose plecos, rainbow contras. What else do I have in there? Obviously some neon tetras. The kids.
I have no idea what all those are, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, I've been in a, I don't even know what they call them, but it's been a hobby for a very long time. I think it was more for the kids. You know, they enjoy it. Get to see their fish that they pick out at the store.
Nice.
But then they start multiplying. That's the problem. The black and the bristlenose plecos. I've given away probably 100 fish at this point. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they multiply pretty quickly.
Wild. All right, guys. I took another take profit off at 69.25. I'm just gonna leave this. My stop is now at 49.50.
Nice.
Targeting VWAP here. I want to see if 86 can hit.
Good trade.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week, but I saw the daily chart. I didn't go back and look at it on the smaller time frame, but did we have a couple opens where we just kind of went straight up?
Yep.
It looked like yeah.
Definitely had a few of those. Which are very frustrating. I don't know how you feel about those, but yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't mess with the open for the first 10-15 minutes. I used to, and I kept getting burned by it. So you know, you do something long enough and you finally come around to your senses.
Right. Yeah.
At the open, it's tricky because you have those days where it just goes straight one direction, but then you have days like it looks like it could be today where it looks like it's going to break and then it just kind of comes back in and starts barcoding sideways.
Yeah.
Which, thanks, Nick, by the way. I think I hear you say it the most, but now I used to call it just sideways, but now you got me calling it barcoding. That's a good term.
Nice. How is it streaming for you and trading at the same time?
I've been doing it since 2019. I don't even, like, it doesn't affect me. I know a lot of people come in, you know, when they're new to the space and they're like, man, I feel the pressure. I feel like I have to take a trade because I'm streaming. I did have that, you know, for the first year or so, but it goes away over time. I usually just recently I started putting my oh, there you go. Nice.
There it is.
There you go.
Moving my stop, guys, to 60.
Nice.
I'm just gonna keep trailing it here. You know what? I'm gonna trail it to hot. I'm really tightly trailing it. 74 is my stop here. I want to see if we can clear VWAP. VWAP's currently at 89 here. I actually want to target 700 if possible. So if I get stopped out, I get stopped out, but all good.
Nice. Yeah, with your trade that you already have pre-market, that's a massive day again. You're making NQ your bitch again.
Some days I feel like the one who's on the other receiving side of that.
Ride your heaters. When you're on a heater, ride
we
it.
all do.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah. So this trade is currently up 2K. So let's see. This is kind of what, I don't know, Vola, how do you get into your trades? Are you all in on one, or do you like dollar cost average in, or how do you typically manage your trades?
That's a great question. Yeah, anyone who obviously knows or watches me, I definitely dollar cost average if I have to. I'm always looking to make enough off of the first entry, but I will add if I have to. And I typically don't just randomly add. I'll look for those key levels. So like right now, if I say I were in a position and it continued to go up and I'm short, I would wait for a key level like 700 to break, and I would try to get an add in on the other side of 700, which would then hopefully bring my average up to somewhere near 700, because the odds are, being a key area, it's going to hopefully retest that area at some point. So yeah, I definitely, all in is, I tried that back when I was trading stocks and kind of still tinkering with the edge, but I found over time and lots of losses later that all in is not the way to go for my type of strategy.
So you scale in as opposed to doubling down. We've
Correct,
talked about
yes.
the distinction of that on this show. So what you're saying is, your full position size, and let's just say it's 5 minis. I don't know what it is, but just for
It actually is 5 minis. Yeah.
Okay, well there we go. So you're going to start maybe like 1 or 2, and then scale in.
Yep, I'll start with 1. Yeah, I always start with 1, and I'll look for, I'm typically looking for like a 15, 20 point move in my direction. So I'm looking for that $300-400 on the NQ. And then if it will go against me, I do have a set dollar amount as a max loss. I have it set in the broker or in the platform. So there's nothing, and we'll get into that subject after this, but yeah, so if it goes against me, it goes against me. Like I said, it's not 100%. You're going to have losing trades, but it is a very high win rate strat. And I try, and that actually, by having that max loss set, it allows me to realize that I have to be patient with my scaling in, because if I get to 5 contracts super fast, I have my max loss set to $3,000, so it can get there pretty quickly. Yeah, especially on the NQ.
Do you ever look? Oh, by the way, guys, I am completely out of that trade. I got stopped out at 74. But are you ever looking at any other indices or stocks or whatever the case may be? Like, do you look at ES when you're trading at NASDAQ? How do you, or do you just strictly look at NASDAQ and the price action?
Just NASDAQ. And the reason for that is I did try. Everyone's like, oh, you should check out the ES. You should check out oil, you should check out gold, you should check out all those other things. And I started looking for my setups in there, and the volatility is just not there like it is on the NQ, and hence my name is actually short for volatility. I just kind of shortened it. And so it's like, if you're looking for volatility, I mean, there's no better place than NQ. And I'll tell you one thing, coming from stocks to futures, stocks, you're constantly looking for volatility across the entire stock market, right? You're looking at every single one. Here, I get to stare at one thing all day, and it's kind of amazing. And for someone who is semi-lazy, also has kids to take care of during the day, especially during summer months, it's kind of nice to just like peek in the office. Oh no, we're just still kind of going sideways. Where on stocks, you need scanners, you got to have Charlie up in the background, if anyone knows who that is. And it's just one of those things where it's just so much easier to just look at one thing. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that makes sense. Not to say there's not setups there for, on other indices, but I've just noticed that if there isn't usually a setup on the NQ, there's usually not going to be a setup on anything else. And when there is, it's usually news related, which I don't like news. Yeah. Okay, awesome. What do you feel like is something that you may have struggled with then in your early days of trading? I would say overtrading was a big one. Not respecting a stop loss, all the typical stuff that you hear other people struggling with. Like, I was there, and that's the whole big thing with people making it in trading. I try to tell them, like, you gotta live through it. I can sit here and tell you exactly what to do and what I do, and you could be perfectly profitable, but most of the time people can't do exactly what I do because you haven't been through the years of what I've been through.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
and I know I've heard you guys say it as well. And it's the truth. You're like, until you get your feet wet, until you are the one going through the process, like you're not going to understand the emotion when a trade goes against you, or when you don't take a stop loss. Like you don't know what that feels like until you're actually in the moment.
Right.
And until you are, you don't know how to fix it. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. I mean, you can have people copy your trades all day, and it's so different when you're looking at like the actual risk of what you're putting on, the emotions. Like I always say that too. I mean, you can have your favorite people that you follow and you get analysis from, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's managing your own trade, and you have to take responsibility and accountability for that, because it's going to be different for every single person. So yeah, absolutely.
And I always say too, like if you're just copying somebody, what if they don't show up tomorrow?
Exactly. Yeah, God forbid something happens to them and now you can't fish for yourself.
Yep.
So yeah. So walk us through what you're kind of seeing here on your charts.
So right now we are trending to the upside, it looks like, which is good for anyone that's in this looking. But to me, what I see, I just see that we're kind of in the middle. We're not really shooting one direction. If you look at, I have the highs and the lows on my chart for the current day, and we're just kind of chilling. So if anything, if we started getting close to the Keltner channels up top there, I would scroll out and I would start looking for key levels of support and resistance. Sometimes I have these drawn out pre-market because I'm just that bored. Like I'll go and I'll look for them. So I'll start drawing these lines. Just you can see support, resistance. So this will probably be an area on the way up that could be used, but not necessarily. And then I'll just as it's coming up, if we get close, I'll start looking like we'd be near 750. But then if we get that close to like high of day, it's usually like a magnet, right? We see it all the time. Like they're looking to either blast through there and continue, or they're looking to grab stops, a nice little liquidity grab, just to get into a little bit more advanced tactics there. But I tend to not try to get into a position that's looking to go the other way when we're near one of those very key areas, because that's a recipe for disaster, I've also found, because it'll work, 80-90% of the time. But that one time it doesn't, like you're hitting your max loss no matter what, because it's just going to go and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, overall, I don't really see anything in this. So there's days where I'll sit here and absolutely get nothing. And I will say lately, everything I've traded has been in the afternoon, like 2-3 o'clock is when all the moves that I like, because they're not news driven. I mean, sometimes they are, like if you have FOMC or, Trump talking or something like that. But I usually have like a news feed, or actually I have you guys up a lot too, because you guys are really quick with the news. So I'll just I don't really keep scanners up too much as far as like voice chatter, and I don't really, have X up or anything like that. But if I see there's a big move, just like a big random candle, I know that's usually not just price action. It's usually because of something, especially because I have the volume up as well. So if there's a lot of volume and a huge candle, it's probably something happened, right?
Yeah.
If you've been around long enough, something probably happened. So later in the afternoon, I've noticed that we've been getting some good price action around that like 2-3 o'clock Eastern. We've just been getting like big dumps or big climbs in one direction, and that's kind of when I've been making most of my money lately. I usually it went, and that's the other thing people are always talking about, adapting and stuff like that. I used to love to get on, and I was out of here 10:30, 11 o'clock every morning. I'd have my trades in, open was perfect. You got a nice volatile move, and then I'd like say it went up, I'd short it, and I'd get my money, and then I'm done for the day. I'll go hang out with the kids or go get in the pool, whatever it may be. And but lately I've had to work for it. I've actually had to sit here and wait, because I haven't been seeing anything in the morning. And and of course I missed last week, which looked like it was great because I was on vacation.
Nice.
Yeah, it can vary for sure, but it's like you said, it's great when you can get that trade in and just be done, and especially since you have kids, being able to spend time with your family and do things, it's well worth being done for the day, and then just being able to just call it a day and be done.
I mean, that's ultimately why we're all here, right? To hit that freedom. The freedom of trading is the allure.
Absolutely.
Facts. So is there anything specific you're looking at right now, or you're just waiting out those first 15 minutes, which, by the way, we will have finished in 1 minute and 35 seconds here, and then we'll have the orb.
Yeah, it gets pretty boring. Like I said, I remember when I was sitting there contemplating life decisions back in February 2019 when I started the YouTube channel, because I was like, I had a little Discord community, and they were like, oh, you should, like, I was actually streaming my screen and they're like just with them, and they were, streaming as well. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go on YouTube and we can kind of start a community where I can, like, just meet people, keep people active. Because the biggest problem with my strategy is the FOMO, right? Like you want to trade every day, you want to make money, but my setup, you have to be so patient, it's ridiculous. So having the chat up and just talking to them all day, or not all day, but all morning, it really keeps me in the zone. Like right now, there is nothing for me to look out on the chart. So by having other people to talk to, like listening to you guys now, which the show has been great. So it's like having distractions, because I know what my edge is amazing, because I don't have to, sit here and be like, oh, I really want to trade. And if you really want to trade and your setup's not fully there and you're just sitting there all by yourself, you're going to find a way to trade. You're going to be like, oh, well, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe I'll just go like half size. And then before you know it, you scale into full size and you're still not even where your normal entry would have been. And you're like, what? And then you step back after you take a loss. You're like, what am I doing? Like, I should have never been in that trade.
Yeah.
But actually, real quick to bring up, since it's not really doing anything, the max loss that I set, I talk about doing things for your edge. Like when you're sitting down, coming up with your strategy, your edge, etc. I always say to do it while you're sober. And what I mean by that is do it while you're not actually trading, right? Do it in the off hours.
That's just no fun.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me take one more drink real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great.
No, what I mean by that is, like, if, like we were just saying, if you have FOMO,
oh boy,
nice little move there.
Well, I have FOMO right now from my trade. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, like even for me right now, like that's still not really where I'd want it to be. So, but at the time, I'm like, I'm on Tradeify TV. It would be really cool to get a trade. But if I were to get in now, this thing could just blow me out of the water, and then I look like an idiot. And I'm not worried about looking like an idiot. I do that every day. But the
we do it
fact of the matter is,
yeah, we do. Yeah, so do we.
But all I was trying to say is that when you're coming up with a strategy and you are thinking of ways to modify a current strategy, or you're trying to make it better, or you're coming up with what should be a max loss, don't think of what a max loss should be while you're in a trade, because you're going to look up and you're like, I'll just give another $500. Well, this should be a good resistance level. I'll just let it go through there real quick and see what it does. And then before you know it, you're blowing accounts. Right. And so what I mean by doing it sober is, like, if you're sitting here and you know what your strategy should do and what number you should never get to, then you can put that into play, and you can put it as a hard stop in the platform, while nothing else is happening. And I just like to call that, a sober state, because you tend to act a little drunk when you're actually in the trade, and you become biased. And it could be trending one way, but you're in it the other way, and you're just like, no, this thing's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse, and it's like, oh, you're drunk. You're drunk to the trade.
I like that. I had a feeling that's kind of where you were going with that. Guys, if you are just now tuning in, we are not talking about any sort of drugs or alcohol.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. Yeah.
That was all on yesterday's show, so now it's fine.
Yeah, but that's a good way of seeing it. Yeah, and it goes back to that bias of, like, just, I think a biggest thing is, like, you see your loss happening, right? You see that little parentheses of, like, you're down a certain amount, but you don't want to click the button, because the moment you click the button, you actually realize that loss, right? That's, I think, the biggest, like, mental block, is not wanting, it's just having that hope, that little sliver of, like, it might just do it. And maybe you were in a position before where it's happened to you, where you did stick to your stop, you did stick to your strategy, or whatever the case may be, and it ended up ticking you or, wicking you out or whatever, and then ended up going towards what, your whole plan worked out, right? So you're traumatized from that as well. But, I think the consistency aspect is what really will help as traders, and, making sure that you're not like in a position where, you're just now you're not able to even trade the next day because you've completely blown your account. So
yeah, if anyone hasn't been ticked out and it worked out and it would have been an amazing trade yet, you haven't been trading long enough.
Yeah, agreed.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
At least twice a week.
Right.
literally. Pretty sure it happened to me like in 2 trades in a row on a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough when that happens.
Yeah, the consistency thing. I mean, that's literally the 2 things I try to pound into everybody's head who like that. If I notice they're new, it's risk management and consistency. I mean, those are the 2 things you really got to hammer home. And obviously you need a profitable edge, but I say it all the time too. There's thousands upon thousands of actual profitable strategies out there, but there's just not enough people to actually trade those strategies profitably.
Mm-hmm.
That one, that's a good one. If you let that one sink in a little bit, it takes a sec to kick in. You're like, wait a minute, yeah, that's actually a pretty good one.
Yeah, it totally is. There's so many out there too, and everyone's gonna say like, I have the best strategy, or everyone's gonna preach for their own strategy. But at the end of the day, it's figuring out who you are as a trader. We had Coach Tank yesterday on the stream talking about like figuring out what kind of trading you even want to do. Are you more on the intraday? Are you more of a swing trader? Even just that question alone on a macular scale is important to answer and figure out like, am I even trading on the right time frame? So yeah, it's trial and error over time. And I went from trading, being completely just an options trader, to now I'm strictly a futures trader for the most part. But yeah, it's definitely figuring out your trader identity. How long do you feel like it took you to figure that out for yourself?
Probably like 3 or 4 years. It took a while. Like even when I was making money I was the typical story. I lost money the first year. I started to be about break even the second year, and I was trading super small size. I was looking to make $100 a day because I couldn't even make $100 a day. So I was really like only looking to, just become profitable. And I was dealing with 2 young kids at the time. So if you go back, and if anyone wants to laugh, go watch some of my streams from when I first started the channel. You'll hear the kids when they were, 1, 2 years old, just crying in the background. I'm like, hold on, I'm in a trade. I never neglected them. I'm being funny. But there would be times
Get back
like
in your cage until my trade is done.
I would literally be in a trade and I would have to, and this is like a trade that's going against me. I would have to get up, because he's crying, and, go over and take care of him. It's like, it was a whole thing. So, and that's why when Nick asked me earlier, like how I feel about trading while streaming, I was like, I've been through it all. Like there's really not much that could distract me when it comes to that. But yeah, that's
a lot. That's a lot to handle. I mean, you're already trying to like deal with your own emotions, let alone like take care of another whole human.
Yep. You're hungry? Here's some cheese balls. Like
take the cheese whiz and just get over it. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But kudos to you though for starting that. I mean, even being in the public eye as a trader, that's a lot right there just alone. I mean, trading alone, in your own room, whatever it is, with no one watching you is already hard enough. So yeah, kudos to you for starting that and being public, and you have to be completely transparent when you're doing that.
Yeah, that's what I do kind of base my entirety of my online presence on that. Because real quick too, like the people who swing overnight, props to you. I don't know how you do it. It's one thing. I don't know how to do it. I've tried it in the past, with options and just regular stocks, and I'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like, what's it doing? And it's like, I'm like, no, that's not for me. So every night I like to go to bed knowing that I'm flat and I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, as far as the 3 or 4 years in, that was kind of when I really found the comfort. I became comfortable. I can't spit that word. I'm turning into Nick here on a Monday.
Called you out, Nick.
He knows it.
I love it. He has no idea what you even just said.
I'm I do. I'm just ignoring it, you know.
It's just smart. It's fun. It's what I
It's
do.
all fun. It's all fun.
But yeah, I just became really comfortable after. Not really comfortable. No one's ever fully, truly comfortable while trading, right? If you
Yeah.
are, then something's probably not right.
You're a robot.
Yeah.
You're not real. Yeah, no, it's definitely hard. It's hard. So would you say that there's anything that you do in particular? I know you kind of spoke about your family and everything, but anything that you do in particular to help you like get ready for the trading day? Do you have any sort of rituals or anything that you do outside of trading that you feel like has really helped you become a better trader?
Honestly, no. I know that's a really boring answer, but
No, that's honest.
yeah, I'm mainly focused on getting the kids out the door. You know, when school's in session, in like in the mornings, when they're home during the summer, or just holidays in general. Like I'll make sure they're taken care of, and they kind of know now that 9:30 to 10:30 is kind of like my go time, and I really ask for that hour. And they're old enough now; they're 9 and 7, so it's like they can start to grab things for themselves, and they don't necessarily need me to come out and help as much. So it's been that really just kind of making sure everything's taken care of inside the house, and then I just kind of sit down, I'll get the stream up and running, just the normal stuff, kind of probably very similar to someone like Drew, like he's got to do his stuff, and then or I think it's usually background Nick. I think Drew's taking over today, but it's really not anything special. I don't drink coffee. This is actually a Fresca. I was gonna play a joke on Matt and say we were best friends if it was a beer, but
it's early even for me.
Yeah.
Dang,
I did that once, but
trading drunk.
Yeah. It was that was a fun, it was kind of a joke, and it turned into reality somehow, and the whole story behind that.
It's okay, this is a safe place.
They were like it started off with, I used to do Friday night live streams, and it was just for fun. Like we would get on Friday night, kind of review the week and like what stocks we traded, etc., go over the charts. And it turned into, hey, if I give you $10, will you take a shot? And I'm like, sure, like just being funny. And some guy gave me $10, and I'm like I was being funny, and he was like, well, now you gotta take the shot. And then it just turned into this thing. And then one morning, someone was like, why don't you try trading drunk once?
Oh my! It just escalated from there.
It escalated. Yeah, it was not great. I purposefully, in the back of my head, didn't I wasn't going to take a trade that day, but that was one of, I think, the 2 times in my entire life, I'm about to be 40 in September, that I was ever drunk before like 8 o'clock at night.
It's all fun and games till people start paying you. Then it's dance, monkey dance.
Well, and that's what it was. And that I quickly got out of that because I realized that's exactly what was happening. I was like, no, that's not worth it. And there are a bunch of people that do that, and props to them.
Yeah. Did you make a banger on that day?
No, I actually did it for free because I kind of, while I was drunk on one of the Friday night live streams, I'm the one that actually brought it up, and then they just kept hounding me to do it. And then I don't even know why I still agreed to do it because there was no incentive behind it. But it's on YouTube somewhere. It's there. You have to go find it.
We'll have to find it and clip it into this. That's awesome. So and remind us too, where, I don't know if you mentioned this, where are you streaming from currently?
My office.
Oh, sorry. I could have made that a little bit more clear.
I'm in Maryland, East Coast.
Okay, East Coast.
I'm sorry, sir. We only have room for one smart ass on this show, so
my bad.
Yes.
Well, Vola, Vola, you've seen the marble races before. Would you want to stay on for one?
So I have a gripe to pick with you guys about marbles.
Oh.
Yeah. You guys got to give props to the person who started marbles on YouTube. Just saying.
That was you?
I've been doing marbles on YouTube for quite some time. That's how I do all my giveaways.
I give my credit here.
Yeah, give me that credit.
Right. Well, I don't know where they got it from, but I think it was Brett and Nick coming up with that. So they probably stole it from me. Who knows?
They're stream sniping.
Yeah,
Streams.
it seems like it. But we should definitely have you on for the marble stand in this case. Chat, let's get us to. Let me refresh the likes here really quick. Let's get us to 500 likes on the stream. Once we reach 500, we're going to do a marbles race for 25K straight to funded account. All right.
Nice.
I can give you guys a really good map to play as well. I know all of them by heart at this point.
Ooh.
So
Send
when
it
we were
over to
talking
Drew.
earlier, actually, let me pull it up. I'll give you the actual name. But when we were talking earlier about my stream and how I, keep my patience on days like today where we're not really getting any setups just yet, that's what we do. Like I'll run giveaways and I'll do like cash prizes and stuff for playing marbles. That's kind of how I keep the, I break up the day and allow time to pass and keep myself out of making stupid trades. Marbles is great.
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. You get it out of anyone, Nick. I see your excitement for it. Like you get so like you're like, man, I just play some marbles, and it's like it really it just breaks everything up. It's great. It's such an amazing amazing thing.
I'm just excited. I'm just excited to give people free accounts. It's like
Same. Yeah.
Brett is really generous with the giveaways and like just giving away accounts and then seeing people win, because we have people now, they're halfway through passing their accounts that they got for free. We have people up like $1,000-$2,000 in their straight to funded accounts that they got for free. So that's sick. I'm looking forward to the first payout that somebody gets from a marbles race account, and then bring them on as a guest too for another marble race.
Yeah, you guys should definitely do your best to keep track of the people who do get the giveaways. And it'd be really cool to have someone on that actually like took a giveaway victory and turned it into some actual money. That'd be a pretty cool little segment.
Oh, we have every intention of that. I've said that a couple times on this stream. If somebody wants to that got a free account and we can confirm it, like obviously we can, that they've taken a payout, I would love to have them on.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're gonna be in the chat and be like, "Yo, I got it."
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got the 500 likes, so let's do this really quick here. Let's do the first marble race for a 25K straight to funded account. Rules are as usual. You have to like the stream. You have to be subscribed. And then I'm gonna drop the keyword here in a second. The keyword will not have any spaces in between. Okay, it's one word. And because Vola Trades came up with the idea originally, apparently that's what he's. Well,
marbles has been around forever, but
yeah, but
on YouTube it's really hard. Yeah,
to put it up on stream, that's what he's saying, right? We don't know. We're gonna check on that. Anyways, the keyword is Vola Marble King. One word. Good luck, guys.
Look, they were pre-typing. They thought it was gonna be Vola Trades.
Nah, they thought so.
They thought.
It's Vola Marble King. That's what it is.
So if you were to say the word, how would you pronounce the word volatility, Nick?
Volatility.
Okay. So it's Vola. It's Vola.
Yeah. Every time Matt would say Vola, I was like, I'll let it slide.
I think I say Vola because Matt said Vola, and I I just look up to Matt and I repeat what he says.
Oh, okay.
Wow. We are really putting Matt on a high horse here.
Where's that bus? Let me just...
Nick wants to be like me when he grows up.
Yeah. He has a photo of Matt just sitting like right.
Well, now we're getting creepy.
I mean, he's obviously aiming for the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
Clearly,
clearly, yeah.
I don't know what Nick's hair genetics look like, but he wishes he could look this good bald.
Have you done the flashlight trick?
What's the flashlight trick?
There was a video on YouTube the other day, a very bald guy. He claims to be the baldest guy in the world, where he takes a flashlight and goes like this and like puts it on his head, and it like completely blinds the entire camera.
No, I'm not that bald actually. Thankfully, I use a camera that's a nice camera, but it's a couple feet away. But I occasionally I'll get the horseshoe going on, but I can only get it so long before my fiance yells at me to shave my head. So
I was gonna say, do it.
Yeah, no.
Do it, Matt.
I will Amazon ship you a flashlight tonight.
Yeah, can we actually do that as a 15K subscriber special, Matt?
Oh,
50K for 50K.
No,
fuck
no,
yes, I'll do
no,
it.
no, 15, 1-5, okay,
We're not
1-5.
No, let's see where our next level is before I commit to anything.
Well, we're at 13.7, so
That's not
Almost
what I
there.
meant.
Almost there. It's too close for his liking.
Yeah,
It's too
exactly.
close for us to forget about it.
If we're not going for the #1 spot, what the hell are we even doing here? So let's make this a long. This is a long burn, long slow burn.
yep, like the climb up that Nasdaq is currently doing, barcoding for the last couple minutes. Actually, we barcoded for the last almost 20 minutes. Ugh,
yeah.
yikes.
Vola,
see-
what is we want to know in the background for Drew here, what is your marble race recommendation?
Oh, I had said it in the chat in the background. It's called Castle Siege is the one I would go with. It's a
Okay.
lot of fun.
Right.
It looks
All right.
red. He'll see the picture. Yeah, it's
All
on
right,
the
Drew,
main
whenever
race
you found
map.
it. Whenever you found it, Drew, pull it up. Let's race.
Trying to break out here a little bit.
Yeah, we are
Mhm.
approaching that trend line that we marked out during pre-market. We're pretty close to it, actually, 2 points away or so.
Yeah, so like right now, when for anyone who cares about my strategy, I like how we kind of had a resistance there at that, what is this, like 727 level. I'd be looking for a big break up towards those channels, and right now the 750 is like in a perfect area. So if we could go straight up and get towards those channels up through 750, I'd be looking for like 765, 770 as an entry. And then my take profit, I'm always looking to use either the retest of the area it broke out from, or I'll look for like that 50 or whole dollar area if it looks like it's holding. But I mean, again, that would have been a perfect setup if we actually got the move. But obviously, the market's only what it wants to do anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we did have some nice resistance sitting there at the 30 level on NQ. Right now, I don't see a lot of sellers until there's a little bit at 740 and then 755. Not a lot of buyers though. I mean, in terms of buying, we have some downside definitely to play with, but also this is coming up with a nice trend here.
Well, Miriam, your P&L here on the screen is soon gonna almost double. Like, what the fuck did you do?
Taking trades
No.
without bonus?
This is I should have stayed in my original trade. This would have been a banger, but it's all good. It's all good.
Well, you're sitting at how much right now?
Well, so yeah, I'm at I'm making a decent scalps here, but yeah, it's we're up on the day. We're up on the day.
Uh-huh. You're waiting for that screen to get updated, huh?
No. No. All
So
good.
I'm
It's been a
curious,
good week.
Miriam, in this last 20 minutes, was there a trade in there?
There were a couple. But you know, they're too quick for putting up on the screen. So I've been basically scalping every single pullback that we've been getting. One of the ones that I took was at the let's see, I've really just been scalping all over the place, but I took one at 706, wrote it up to about 725, then shorted that one to about 710, and then now got into a new one at 726. So we're still in this.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you knew the market was going to barcode for like an hour? Imagine how much money you could make.
You just take
yeah.
every single, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just find the top, find the bottom, and that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we got the marbles ready here. So, Drew, feel free to pull them up.
Trying to break out at the same time. This happens to me all the time too. I'll be like, all right, let's do a marbles race. And then I'm like, oh, but we might actually get a trade here.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what happens when we have our marbles races. We typically
Yeah.
get a move. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
well-
map, I'll kind of commentate a little bit. It looks like a straight line, but there's a lot of death involved. So if you are in the lead, it does not mean you're gonna win. There's like these like comet looking things, and then there's these barrels that explode on the track. And we have all kinds of terms, but every one of my account giveaways, I mainly only give away Tradeify accounts. But when we're doing those, like when I'm doing the big straight to funded account giveaways, I'll always do this track because it's it always entertains. There's never not entertainment with it. Every once in a while, you'll get one that like sneaks through and finds a way to beat the map without any fun, but it's very rare.
Well, you should be the commentator for that one then.
Let me see if I can blow it up. I can't actually make out the names when looking at the
Yeah,
screen.
sometimes it's a bit hard to see.
Let me pull up the actual stream. Let's see.
But Drew, feel free to run it.
Go for it. You do the old 3, 2, 1. There it is. Oh, let me pull this back up.
Okay, that's some Harry Potter type shit.
Yeah, so they're like comets. I call them comets. I don't know what they actually are. They're like little fireball things, but they'll come out and they'll hit you, and you get thrown off the map.
Oh, okay. That might be my new favorite track.
We're just going to continue playing this one over and over again at this point. Oh,
it's kind of what I do, at least for the giveaways. But then, yeah, you'll get some that break away, and I always tend to follow that first person. And you'll notice they'll start getting hit by barrels, and like they'll start coming down, and they can get shot off the track too if one of those comets come, etc.
Dang!
Yeah.
It's vicious.
Yeah. If you always face towards the end of the track, Drew, it's usually the best way to do it, because then you can start to see how close they're getting.
Drew's having a really hard time.
Yeah, yes. Just stay on the first marble and face the end of the track. It's the best way to do it. It's not like the other tracks. You don't have to like pan out and stuff, I promise.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, there you go. Now turn it. Yeah, there you go. It's fun. And then when someone passes him for first place, then you can switch to him, or he gets blown off the track, etc.
He's killing it.
Yeah, see? Now he's going backwards. Yes. Oh, it's great. Oh, look, now someone else took the lead.
Ooh.
And it's crazy too, because when you get towards the end, a lot of those comets start to come in, and you think you're about to fall into the bucket at the end to win, and then it just blasts you off the track, and you're like, no.
This is great.
See, is it?
Oh, man.
It is
By far the best. Yeah, the ones that take like 3-4 minutes are great. And you can see there's only 78 people out of 300 that are still left.
This is crazy.
Oh, you going?
This is just
DJ Noah.
This is a great analogy for trading right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting close to the end here, but things can go crazy. Here it is.
Trader King
All he
is like,
has
how
to do
long
is
is
fall in there. All he has to do is fall in there, and he wins.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Damn.
See, you think you win, but you don't. Oh, I missed it. There it is. Winner.
Oh, wow.
Bingo.
Okay, I
Really?
think I found somebody who loves marbles more than I do.
I told you, I've been playing it for quite some time.
Hilarious.
That's
Well,
great.
yeah, Finga, congratulations. You just won a 25K straight to funded account. Make sure to type something in the chat really quick. Oh, he already did. Or she.
Nice.
And make sure to add your email address to your YouTube channel description so we can reach out to you and send you your prize.
That was epic. That was great.
That was fun.
Do love me a good marbles race.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Need a
Oh,
cigarette
yeah.
After that one.
Oh, that was great. I needed that laugh. My face hurts.
Drew cannot hear anymore after that, he said. So
It's like, I am deaf.
yeah.
Oh, Miriam, you should see the ones where you'll have someone get close to the end like that, and they'll get blown off the track. We've actually, so the first person that happened to was a guy named Froggo on my stream. So every time that happens, I'll be like, oh, he got Froggoed. And there's sometimes we'll play that track and it'll happen to like 10 people in a row. And you're just like, you're like, oh, he's about to win. Oh, see ya.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah,
That's
we
great.
gotta get more recommendations from you with these marble races, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've found all the good tracks. There's a lot of them that are kind of boring, and then there's a lot that are actually a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, we're actually kind of getting a move towards the highs here.
Yeah,
It's going to be
I'm in a
sad
long
because-
here. I'm in a long
They are
since
nice.
22,742.50. Targeting 72.
Okay. Would your stop have been below that previous resistance of like 30?
Yeah, so I did take the bull flag break, right? And then basically had to stop below the bull flag. So I don't know. Wait, I can show it better on TradingView actually. You see it here. So I'll mark this out.
Watch this level here at 68, around 70 or so.
This is how I took it. Can you see the screen?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, so I had to stop below the bull flag. And target is right at these highs here on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah, and you want to know what's great about that? Where you'd be looking to exit, that's where my entry would be. It's always funny. I tell that to people a lot, you know, that are on the other sides of my trades. I'm like, well, that's kind of how it works, right? There's always someone on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I'm break even on this, so let's see. Let's see if we can run it up.
A good way to put how I'm the reason behind my type of trading, and at least in my head, is I'm looking for where everyone else is looking to sell or where everyone else is looking to buy. So if you were in a long, you know, on the psychology side of things, where are you looking to sell because you think that it's not going to go any higher, right? That's where I want to get in because the odds are everyone's going to be selling. Right. So, and
makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm trailing my stop here though.
Bulls are pushing.
I'm trying. Hopefully 50 will hold for you here.
Yeah, I might get stopped. I have my stop moved now to 49.75 because I don't like how we're struggling at this level.
Look, now we're all intensified for.
I know we're all just.
Let's go. Intently. Push it
up. And another bull flag would be nice.
Yeah, we are holding. I think as long as we hold like 48, I think we're good.
Yeah.
You guys ever hear the story about the I forget, it was in a book, or I think it was a Mark Douglas story actually, about the corn futures, the example that he gave in there about how it only takes one person. Yeah, you know, because the whole premise behind it was that once you get into a trade, you have absolutely no influence on that trade anymore. Once you have used your volume or liquidity and put it into the market, after that, you absolutely have no control over what the market's going to do. And that, again, that kind of leads me down the path of why I react to what the market's doing, not try to predict what the market's going to do, because all it takes is one guy with a ton of money and, you know, he wants the market to move one direction and they can make it happen, right? And even though everyone in the world thinks a chart is going to go a specific way based off of technical indicators, you know, technical analysis, whatever it may be, all it takes is that one person. And there was a story by Mark Douglas where there was a guy who was so confident in his trade that he could predict exactly where it was going to go. And this guy was in this room. He calls up, you know, the market maker at the time. You know, this is obviously 20, 30 years ago or whenever it happened. And he was like, I'd like to place an order for the corn futures, you know, to, you know, $20 million or whatever. And he moved it past that point where, this is just a story, I don't think it actually happened, but he was just proving that all it takes is that one person. And the moral of the story is that, you know, you have to come to the realization that once you're in a trade, you've done everything you could up until that point to make the best decision possible. And now you need to respect your rules after you get into the trade. Like, where's your stop loss? Where's your take profit? And not rely on a bias of what you think it was going to do before you got in the trade. That was, I don't even know where that came from, but it was very long-winded and sorry.
It's a great story. It's a great story.
Yeah, it really is. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas is, I read that book. Well, I should say I read it once and then I listened to it, a bunch of his workshops as well, probably 9-10 times throughout the years. It's definitely a good one.
I'm a full-on Mark Douglas disciple. That's
I was
great
waiting for Matt. Waiting for Matt to say something.
Yeah, a lot of this is psychology, right? You're battling yourself more than you're battling the market on a daily basis.
I have the disciplined trader on the thing behind me. It fell down, but it's back there.
Yeah, yep, that's a good one. Yeah, when anyone asks me for recommendations on books, it's like, you know, you have all the typicals, but I always lean towards Trading in the Zone because that one really kind of breaks it down, especially his workshops. If you ever have the time to go deep dive in on YouTube looking for his workshop videos, because he'll give like examples, and I mean, he's basically taking his book and like putting it into a workshop and giving you examples of each step along the way. And it's it's definitely valuable information. There's a lot of golden nuggets in what he had to say. May he rest in peace.
I've often said I wish Mark Douglas would have been like around and still very active now, because I've always been curious what he would say about. Now I know he was more just trading in general, and he himself, you know, was not a day trader per se, but I'm curious what he would say about the prop firm space and how traders treat their prop accounts, right? Loading into a bunch of accounts and just trying to YOLO into passing and the habits that would create. I think if he was just kind of like not just getting going now, but really kind of having a, you know, still in this prime as far as his teaching days, what he would say about all this.
Well, you out of everyone know that like he would say, you know, he'd have $1 million traders that were struggling, and he'd have to take them all the way back down to one contract, or, you know, like one share, depending on if it was stocks or indices or whatever. But it was like sometimes it's not the size, you know, it's not the size of the position, it's just what's going on in your head. And a lot of people think it's the size, like, well, if I'm trading for this amount, then my emotions are affecting me because of that. But in reality, it's just something else that was implanted into your head that you don't even realize is happening. And until you kind of take the other variables out of the picture, you can't really find the actual problem, which is, it's some deep stuff. Like when you really start getting into the psychological side of things, it can become pretty deep and hard to understand if you don't allow yourself to understand it.
Absolutely.
Mariam, you're in a banger trade, and Jack, can we actually get a W Mariam here, because she's crushing it today. This is biggest day ever on Tradeify TV.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Very
cut
nice.
that long. I've been in this long for longer than I want to be, but I just keep moving my stops. So we are hitting a support level or a demand level. Girl, bye. Supply level sitting here. We keep banging our heads into it. The 768 level. I'm watching this. I just keep moving my stop, honestly, guys. But if we can clear this 768, we have room. At least we got to clear like 780, and then from 780, we got room to at least 800, and then I think that's Tuesday's high. Tuesday's high at 848.
Please. Please. Pretty please.
Yeah.
I just want to see it actually make a move. Like I thought we were going to get that move there on that 740-ish break, 745 break, but it's still kind of, I mean, at least it's trending. It's trending in the right direction, at least.
It is trending, yeah.
It is.
See what Tesla's doing. Tesla's probably up then.
Yeah.
Oh wow. No. Well, it got a nice down. It got a nice move to the downside, but
It's 3.7% up today.
but there's a lot of other. I think there's a lot of other companies that are up on the day. I think I saw like Roku.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Are we near earnings at all? I don't.
Well, earnings. I mean, we're in earnings. Well, going to be in earnings season the next couple of weeks. But as far as stocks goes, Intel's down 5%. Adobe's down near 5%. On the upside, Reddit is up 6% today. Tesla up 3.7%. Apple up 2%. So that's kind of when you get Apple and Tesla kind of pulling their weight, you're going to see moves like this.
Story about Reddit real quick. I tried to get into the IPO for 1,000 shares back when it IPO'd, and it literally only filled me 2.
Oh.
Wow.
No.
And that thing took off. I mean, I had the opportunity to get back in. I think it was like a week and a half after that. And at that point, I was just like, I was only looking for that initial spike. So I was like, well, I'm not playing this game, because how many IPOs have we seen that took off and then went way past where it even opened? So I was like, I'm not going to mess with that. But I was so sad, because that would have been a nice banger of a trade.
Yeah.
Man.
It fundamentally though, Reddit is such a shithole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the same thing. I remember when Snapchat was first going through their process of IPOing, right? It was a couple months before. Never used Snapchat, just didn't really appeal to me. And so I downloaded it, and I'm just kind of playing around, and I remember thinking, A, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever dealt with, and B, like, how the hell do you monetize this? right? And I know we put ads in between. Okay, great. Like, and I don't know what Snap's doing now. I don't think I've looked at that chart in years, but it's same thing with Reddit. It's just, okay, that's great. You put in ads, nobody pays attention to them. So what do you, you know, is it really, what's your, I'm really curious what companies that advertise on Reddit, what their ROI is on that.
I always wonder that too. Like when companies are paying like a Snap or a Reddit or Instagram for that matter, like who is the person that's actually scrolling through Instagram, like through the reels or whatever, and they're like, oh, look at that ad. I've been looking for that and I'm gonna click on it. Like,
hey,
no one does.
I bought multiple products off of Instagram ads.
I am, yeah.
All right,
I'm a consumer. They're targeting me for sure.
I will. That's also weird too. Like where you'll be talking about something and then you'll be scrolling and you're like, wait a minute. Well, I was just talking about that, but I never searched it. What's going on here? Like, I need to start covering my camera and turning my phone off. Yeah, and
well, just get rid of your phone, man.
Yeah, just toss it right out
at this point.
Put it right in the fish tank. And now no, they've made them waterproof now, so I can't even do that.
Yeah, there you go. when me and my man were talking, I was constantly whispering engagement ring into his phone.
Yeah, that's smart.
Trip to Hawaii.
I have my first target here at 72.50, so 4 points away.
Nice.
And my stop trailed to 7.52 now.
Yeah, I also trailed mine 7.53.
I would only hope that the high is used as a magnet. So I would assume we'll get to that 80 level.
I will say though, and I see Reddit, they talk about Reddit selling, and listen, this is it's interesting because we talk about generational gaps, right? Like where we have, what do we have? We had the boomers, then Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, I think is the coming of age right now. But honestly, I feel like it's a lot like with market cycles, right? Where market cycles used to take 3 to 5 years back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. That you get full on market cycles in a matter of weeks nowadays, right? Where you're technically speaking in a bear market, in a bull market or a side, it's insane. Generational gaps are like this too. And so somebody was bringing up Reddit and the awards, and like, when I was born in 82, and so I'm kind of like this micro generation where I can remember Betamax and VHSs, and I grew up with cable TV, and now all this stuff, and I can use most tech flawlessly, right? Whereas a little older than me can struggle with some of that stuff. Younger than me has been raised with all of that. So it's interesting to have some of these conversations, even with people that like Miriam and Nick, who technically are in the same generation as me, but just that 10 years can make a huge difference. I mean, we're almost in these 10, 15 year micro generations now. So I look at Reddit as they sell Theta 6, they sell awards on Reddit. I can't ever see myself bragging about a Reddit award, but I guess if they wouldn't sell it if it didn't make them money.
Ooh, nice fill there.
All right.
Nice fill.
Broke the highs. I wonder if that was just a big order getting stopped. They were just getting out of their position, or some kind of news.
I have one stop right there.
It's a lot of volume that came in.
74. Just letting this go. There we go. I just got stopped out on that trade.
I still have 2 micros on.
If there's anything I can, anyone who's watching, curious to kind of what I'm looking for, like anytime you see a big candle like that, what do you always typically see right after? You always typically see that knee-jerk reaction back the other way. And then if it wants to continue, it will. But you obviously never know where that first candle is going, right? That's that price discovery that I'm always talking about. Now, whether that was just, somebody who was caught in a big short, and they were just getting out, or if it was some small news that we don't know about yet, that I don't know. But again, that's the beauty of what I do, is none of that really matters because I'm just looking for those big extensions, because the odds are you're going to get that reaction back the other way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't know what that was. I'm completely out of my trade, guys. We're trying to slice through this area here. Next target would be 800, guys. It'd be 800. ES got a nice little push here too. This 260 area is going to be a key resistance zone as well. So I'm completely out of my trade.
I'd be looking.
Yeah, you're good. hopefully it keeps going. I'd be looking to get in around like 815, 820 if we can make the move up through 800. Obviously, I'm looking for quick. What was that?
I got stopped out.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be looking to enter, you said around 815.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think like, okay, 815, that's the magical number because it's, 15 points above 800 and I'd be looking for the 800 retest. Like I still need to see it with some speed. Like speed is what I'm really looking for more than anything. So like that candle, when it kind of broke up through the high and it was a lot of volume out of nowhere, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those big reactions. Because again, a lot of times when you get those reactions, that's when everyone's like, oh crap, I gotta sell because it's moving so fast to the upside, and you tend to get that move back down. And I mean, sometimes trades can take literally a second, like I'll get in, I'll happen to top ticket and it'll come back down and hit that 15, 20 points. And sometimes it can happen that quick. But it does have to be fast. Like I'm not looking for it to, like this grind up we've had since like 10 o'clock until that move we just had at 10:25. Like I'm not looking for that. Like if it were to go up to 8:15 like that, I'm not interested. I would want to see it get there like really fast.
Yeah.
And we all know what move I'm talking about. We've all experienced it.
No, I know.
Absolutely.
It'd be nice to see if we can get it here. It's trying.
Oh yeah, it is. Man, definitely, honestly, not expecting the move that we're getting today. This is absolutely insane move.
Well,
Yeah,
such
you
a strong
smashed
move
it. That's
off of the bottoms after go ahead.
First 5-figure day on Tradeify TV, Mariam. That should get you an
Absolutely.
award. Congrats.
Golf clap, non-golf clap.
No,
loud
that's
clap.
not a golf clap. That's a real clap. Come on.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure
yeah.
you're showing off for me. I have that effect.
Yeah, we should have you on more often. It was definitely that marbles race that you got us on.
I got you pumped up.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm also back in the green with that trade. Not as impressive as Mariam with her 10K, but at least I'm back in the green. Let's go.
That got the golf clap.
Just one though, just
got it. Yeah, really. I'm excited here. I actually might get a trade before 11 o'clock for once. It's been a while.
It is, yeah. It's been a rough market to trade in, guys. This has been a rough market, and these are one of those days I love. These are the days that I really, really thrive in because I don't know about you, Vola, but I love me a good trend day because if we can just continue to add, like for me, I've just been adding on these pullbacks, right? I got in at the 226 level or 726 level, right where we kind of broke out of this area here. And so for me, I love these pullbacks. We can see that we got these nice pullbacks to the EMAs. We've just been riding the EMA, right? We've been riding this 9 EMA here. And that's kind of what I mentioned to you guys that I look for on trend days. If we can just get the pullbacks to the EMAs, get in, and then continue riding it up. Was not expecting this move. Honestly, I just kept trailing my stop on this, but this is my indication to get out. Whenever we break the EMA, which we're very clearly way above right now. ES was kind of lagging a little bit, honestly. This is one of those days where I wasn't expecting ES to lag so much, but I do think NASDAQ did get some nice move from the tech names today. So obviously helping ES move to the upside. But yeah, definitely was expecting this area here to find resistance. We kept bumping into resistance at the 730 zone. But once we got the push through, that kind of kept me in the trade. But yeah, very, very interesting move that we're getting today. Definitely a nice trend up day. Honestly, at this point, I don't see anything until, 830s, 850s, not even until like 885. And then we have this this supply zone sitting between like 900 and 915. So that's going to be putting us at close to, Monday's highs here. So let's see, maybe we get that.
Yeah, it's funny too, like kind of hearing it in your voice a little bit when you're seeing it go higher. You're up 5 figures and you're still like, it could be more. Be more. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But it's definitely it's good to trail your stops too when you're in those. Yeah,
to answer you with the excuse me, with the trending I really don't care. To get a little more in depth with my strat, it's when we are trending like this, I tend to be a little bit more short with my trades if I get in. I also tend to stop out a little bit quicker. I won't maybe necessarily scale in as much if it does go against me, just because we are trending. And I know that, you know, a good trend, you can get a blow off, because a lot of people, if you scroll out and look back at 9:30 where we were, I mean, we're straight up. So anyone who has been shorting and trying to hang on, you know, eventually, you know, they're going to realize, okay, we're not coming back, and, you know, they might, and then you start to kind of maybe even start squeezing a little bit, and that's when things can get hairy for me. And that's why I do notice when we're trending, because when you are trending, things can get out of control a little bit quicker than if you were just kind of going sideways and had a random big move inside the bigger sideways move.
Yeah.
So trends definitely do matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy move. You are right.
Crazy
I mean, we did
move.
start down, like we started at the lows at, what was it, like 8:40 in the morning, and then it just kind of went back towards the highs. Now we're just kind of chilling. Kind of frustrating, because this is what's been kind of happening the last couple weeks. Really, is we'll get close to where I'd be looking to get in, and we just don't get that extra push, right? I'm always looking for that extra shove, just to get that rubber band really extended. And I haven't been seeing that until the afternoon for some reason, even though the volume's there. It's just, I guess there's too many people kind of hitting the other side of the button to keep it from going a little crazy.
Man, yeah, this is quite the move, guys. Quite the move. What are your charts showing right now in terms of the bands that you're looking at? So if I can see, I'm trying to see what your chart is showing here.
Yeah, we got pretty close on that big candle that we had. But again, like I said, if I see something like that, I'm thinking there's news or something. So I'll give it a couple minutes to kind of play out because of that price discovery mode. But as you can see, we're still not really, actually, we're getting, like, the more we kind of go sideways and start to slowly trend again, the bands are getting further and further away again. And that's kind of why I like keeping this EMA on my chart. This is the 13 EMA, which is the middle of the Keltner channels, because I can kind of see that we're in a trend by keeping it. Because you can see if we scroll out, like, we've just been kind of hugging that line the entirety of the morning. So until we really start to extend away from the EMA, or any EMAs you have on your chart that are relatively on the lower side of things, like I'd say like 13 or lower, you can kind of use that as a gauge of the volatility and the movement, or the move that it's making itself. Because the further you get away from an EMA, that means the quicker it is, because it's a lagging indicator. So if it has to play catch up, that means you're currently in a big move. Where if it's just hugging it, it means the market's not really moving as fast as you think.
That's true. That's true. That's a really good point.
But yeah, now that we're kind of coming back down, we broke through the highs there again. Like, usually I'll keep drawing lines, like when we make new highs, because I'll look for it to kind of break through, and I'll look for that to be my retest area if I do get into a trade. But it's been constantly just kind of doing this, where it'll kind of go higher, come back in, go higher, and, you know, AKA trending.
Yeah.
Today's a really nice trending day.
Which not expected.
No.
I did not have high conviction going into today. But that's what's important. You said it too, Vola. Like, we gotta trade what we see, not necessarily what we feel like is gonna happen. So
yeah, some of your best days are
not what you think.
What was that, Matt? Sorry,
I said trade what you see, not what you think.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another hopeful breakout. It kind of is. These are the days that kind of stink for me anyway, because it's just a bunch of false hope. Like, oh, it's gonna do it, and then it doesn't.
We're gonna do it.
And it's still trying here, but I tend to like another, just getting into the smaller in depth of my strat. I like to, when it breaks through a key area, I want to see it not retest that area first before going higher, because then it means that the sellers haven't sold above that area yet. But if you get this back and forth like this before a big move, then you're probably not going to get a full retest of that area, just because the people who were selling in that area are already gone, right? So the only people that are usually going to step in there are the buyers. And then that's kind of on the back end of things, it's kind of how the market works, right? If the market's moving higher, it means there's more buyers willing to buy at that certain price than there are sellers pushing it the other way, right? It's the only way the market moves. But at the same time, for looking for a big move one direction, you have to not have sellers, right, in the way, and you have to have buyers that are willing to keep buying to get that big move. And sometimes when it's just saturated both directions, it's obviously tough to get that bigger move. But obviously we have a few more buyers today that are willing. And I honestly think that, once you start trending really far in one direction throughout the day, you're really getting a lot of the short sellers that were trapped, that are covering their positions, that also become buyers. So you tend to kind of continue in that direction. That's why trends are powerful, because if you trap enough people, everyone's straight in that direction, because you're either stopping out or you're adding to your position. So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, this feels extended for me too. I mean, we're getting so far from, at least on my charts, we're getting so far from the 9 EMA here too. And not to say this couldn't continue, because it definitely can, but yeah, we're we're going into, this 815 area was the one that you had mentioned earlier, that you'd be kind of looking at. But yeah, I do have a level sitting at 823. Bookmaps has a wall of sellers sitting at 815. I don't really see.
Also, 825.50 is previous week high on NQ.
825.50.
Yep.
Yeah, and this was actually a perfect example. Like, I did say 815, 820, but that was only if, when we broke through 800, if it went straight there, right? Because now that we're kind of just, I always call it grinding. We're just kind of grinding higher. So it's like, if we grind to that area, I'm not interested, because it's not doing what I wanted it to do. So now my area, like, you guys trail your stops, like I basically trail my entries, and I always kind of keep it pretty far up there, looking for like that. I don't use the bands, like I said, as 100% way of entry. I mainly use just key areas more so than that, but I'll use those as kind of a guide of where I should be looking for an entry.
Interesting. Okay, I've never heard that before. Trailing entries.
Yep. Yeah, because like, I don't know if you can see my chart, but like I'll put like a sell order like this, and then like as we're moving higher or trying to move higher, I'm looking for that big break. So I'll just literally just kind of keep moving it up. So like, you guys would move a stop, I'm moving my entry, just looking for it to kind of continue.
Okay. So do you ever, like, whenever you start to see, a shift in market direction, do you then move it from there, or how do you manage
if there's a shift in market direction, I'll just end up canceling it, because I'm only looking for key areas to break. So if we start coming back down in this area, that would be kind of a bummer, because then I'm literally probably for the next half hour to an hour doing nothing, as it figures out what it wants to do. So I've been very hopeful for, since 10 o'clock, because we've been constantly in an area where it could give me a trade. So it's like, this is when I'm on high alert. I'm kind of just waiting. And it looks like we're going to try again here. So it's like, I'm always sitting here waiting, but if we were to pull back to, like, say 780 or something like that, or get below the 13 EMA or something like that, then it's like, I'm kind of in no man's land, and I can, go get a drink, go check on the kids, whatever it may be. Because I literally, unless there's like news or something, like, that price is not going to get anywhere near where I want it to be for the next, half hour or so.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be extra patient. That's really what's going to test you in this market.
Yeah, man.
If you look in the chat, guys, they just I think this is background Nick coming at us from the meetings in New York. If we hit 14K subs before the stream ends, we'll give away a 150K straight to funded account, maybe a couple. He's sitting in a room with Brett right now, and Brett may be feeling really generous today. So let's get us up there.
We're sitting at 13,700 something. So if you all make a post right now on socials and you share this, we are going to get to 14K today. And if we're going to do that, I mean, straight to funded 150K accounts, guys, better start sharing the stream right now, because that's going to be juicy. That's going to be one hell of a marble race.
Instead of hide your kids, hide your wife. It's tell your kids, tell your wife.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, again, as far as the trade, did the same thing. It keeps poking through and then coming right back down, but we're still trending. I say with a smile on my face, we're still trending. Even though I'm really sad inside. Oh.
Yeah, we're slowly just making this move up. Very crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back and kind of give examples since I see my charts up of like what I'm actually looking for. But this was the trade I took yesterday. You can see where this was afternoon, yeah, 3 o'clock. Like I said, most of my trades have been in the afternoon. So get the bigger move down. I had this line drawn as well, so it just not extended. But I'm typically looking for moves through key areas as well as into those bands. And as you can see, when we get to the bands, this is very typical, right? You get that rubber band stretched out and then it pulls back in. And like I said, it's the 13 EMA for anyone that's just tuning in, and the 4 standard deviation is what I use. I'm an open book about it. You can feel free to ask me anything about it and I'll do my best. But as you can see here, like this is a good example of where we didn't quite get into the bands, and you can see it kind of trended a little bit more that direction. So that's why I try to be super patient and not get in too early. Let's go back to that previous day because I know I took a trade in the afternoon.
Vola, why 13 EMA?
Just to be completely honest, when I was trading stocks, I had the stock settings, and when I came over to futures, I was looking for a very specific thing. I was looking for whenever we had a big move in one direction, like this candle isn't great. I did trade this because this was a little slower than it appears, but I was looking for when you get that big candle, where is it most likely to stop? And I literally for months sat there and I went from the stock settings to, it looks like we're getting a drop in the price here.
Nice.
To like, I start from like the 8 EMA, then I went to the 9 with 2 standard deviation, then I went to 9 with 3 standard deviation, then I went to 10 with 2 standard. Like I played around with it just to get where I constantly saw, like if you scroll back and every time you would get like a big move in one direction is where I kind of just placed the bands. So, and like I said, that was through months and months of just back testing and going through and looking for every time we had a big move and we looked for that rebound, because I knew what I was looking for. I was looking for that rubber band stretch and coming back. So I knew I was looking for those big moves. So I was basically just trying to place those bands where when it looked like it ran into them, that's where we would look to get that reversion. And that was just kind of how it was, just through trial and error, lots and lots of trial and error. But yeah, if you put these on your chart and you just scroll back, you'll notice that almost every time you get really close to those bands or even into the bands, there's something that happens. That's usually pretty magical.
We like a magical trade.
And that's what I always say, you know, I can sit here and tell you it's a very high win rate strat, but the way that it needs to be traded, you know, if it starts to go against you, you have to know how to manage the trade and you have to know how to stop out. Because if you don't, then you're just going to be blowing up accounts, you know, and that's no fun.
How long have you been playing the strategy for?
Pretty much since I started trading stocks. It's just this version of it. But when I came over to futures, I was trading a lot of the opening range trade. That was kind of what Chris Alpine Trader was doing. And so I kind of adopted that because I was like, well, it was working for him at the time. I was like, let me give it a shot. And then there was like big controversy around it. Props started changing the rules because of it, actually. And I was like, well, in the end too, it was like a blow or go kind of like strategy. And that's not really what I'm about anyway. But, you know, when I first came over, I was like, I was just giving it a shot, seeing if it worked. And it wasn't for me. I kind of found that out pretty quickly. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I could adopt my strategy from stocks and apply it. And to be completely honest, Matt, or you all might actually get this, but I refer to the NQ as a big cap stock, like your Teslas and your Apples and stuff. So like when it wants to move, it can move, but it can also make a huge move and just continue, right? Because there's so much volume and so much liquidity and the market cap is so high that a lot of people, when they trade those companies, they can just trend forever. Where when you talk about your smaller caps and like those types of stocks, you tend to get those pump and dumps. You know, I'll just call it what it is, because But yeah, it's the idea behind the trade is, or on the idea behind using the strat on the NQ was I had to come in with a mindset of you can trend for hours, days. You can trend for a very long time in the NQ, as we kind of just saw. That was for over an hour. And that's when you finally got this pullback where, you know, this just looks like a bunch of sellers finally coming in. But look what happened, right? You got one big move, that big candle didn't quite get to where I would want to see it, but look at what happened right after. And now we're actually getting to move back to the upside.
Wow. Yeah.
Quick fake out.
Well, it's like I've said, guys, you know, every trend in the market continues 100% until it doesn't, right? And we talked pre-market about the tendency on, this isn't a Friday, obviously, but it's the last full trading day of the week, that we could see some selling off. People don't want to hold longs throughout the 4-day weekend or 3.5-day weekend. And that's just, again, clearly not the case today. We had kind of a double news of Tesla sort of exceeding expectations as far as a lot of shipments. Then we've got, apparently we have the trade deal with Vietnam, which Trump is now tweeting out even more about. Now, again, I honestly, I don't know the amount of trade deficit we do or don't have with Vietnam. I assume it's a lot of Asian and South Asian countries who probably have some cheap production over there. But this is, I guess, the first of what was supposed to be a lot of trade deals, which, you know, the arbitrary deadline that was set was basically next Wednesday, so a week from today. So we'll see what happens. I think if you get some stacking up of some of these deals, maybe over the long weekend, we could be in a whole new era of back to the 2021, summer where it was just, I mean, you sneeze and there's new all-time highs, right? It was a multi-day thing. I think if I recall, there was like a 7-day period. I think 6 out of this, I'm trying to remember this because I remember saying this on stream at one time. I think 6 out of the 7 days we made like at least 3 new all-time highs just during the New York session. So we could be headed back into that, guys. So let everyone kind of beware. Maybe some of you bears are going to get converted to the perma bulls.
All I've been playing today is longs.
I know, and I just want that noted. The first 5-figure day in Tradeify TV history was longs.
Well, fair play.
Yeah, I would agree with Matt that when I came from stocks, I was very much a bear. Like I shorted 99.9% of the time because that was
Let's
just
go.
But since coming over to the NQ, I have learned to become non-biased because I've also learned that the market over a long period of time tends to only go in one direction. So I do try to keep that in the back of my mind. No, I'm still a bear at heart. Like, look at this. And I'll explain why. Because if you're looking for a long move, you tend to have to find it in the form of a trend like this. But if you're a short trader, you tend to get these giant elevators, right? I always say the bear or the bulls take the steps, the bears take the elevator. And it tends to always happen. But you usually have to be pretty quick with it when it happens, because sometimes you get this exact move where it just completely rebounds. But obviously you don't know that's going to happen, but it's teasing me again. So now I'd be looking for up through 850 would be my key area that I'm looking to break.
Yeah, we just broke the previous week high here. I was sitting at 25.
It'd be nice to see it break that 850. I'd be looking for like 865, 870.
Yeah, that's what I would be looking for too. I have 848 and then 885.
It's also fun hearing you guys like throw out these levels that you found, because it's always funny how they tend to line up with, just general areas as well sometimes. Because it's just how the market works, They tend to find those key areas.
Yeah, we're all seeing similar stuff, just maybe analyzing it differently.
Right, exactly. It goes back to the thousands of different ways to trade.
Yeah.
Come on, do it.
Do it.
I tell the market to do it all the time. It's ridiculous.
It's hilarious. I do the same thing. I'm like, do it. Just do it.
Do
it. I think we all do, right?
Take it, you rats.
I think we all
Matt, you're a good Arnold impersonator, huh?
a few key phrases.
Chelsea, do it.
He prides himself
better than
on
me. I'll give you that one.
Wow.
You just pretty much have to pretend like you're just like there's a finger in the back of your throat just pressing back. Get down, you know.
Kelsey, get down.
Oh Lord.
No, go up.
Just go long. You don't need to go short. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Come on.
There he is again.
This is technically a Friday show, so once we get within the last couple of hours, we're allowed to just go nuts.
True.
Marion made 10 grand. We got a good guest on. We're down to our last a little over 90 minutes of the streams for this week. Yeah, no, it's a shit show now. So welcome to the chaos.
Yeah, we're trying to structure a trade here, but it's just not cooperating. Just go. Apparently today is this is not trading advice, but apparently today is just go long.
Apparently, yeah. Every pullback, I'm watching every pullback just get bought up. Really, I mean, it's not even like massive pullbacks. It's just like tiny pullbacks on the 1 minute.
So I'm curious, Miriam, on a dip on that 1044 candle, are you ever interested in a candle like that to try to go long? Or is that scary? No, I'm not trying to imply anything, but
no, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. I'm trying to look at where we dipped into the 770 area. Well, we did hold like really the pre-market highs. I would be, you know, it's not typical for me to catch the bottoms like that, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely look at it on watch. I would definitely not have shorted that on a day like today. I would have waited for at least us to, you know, break VWAP. That I would have waited for 700 to break. Honestly, I would have, you know, it would have taken me another 60 points to even consider a short. Just because when we're looking at a trend day like this, you know, it's really hard for me to find a short on a day like this. So yeah, I would not be looking for shorts, honestly. And I'm not looking to take any additional trades today, but any contrarian trades would be really your best entries for taking a short. But you got to be quick, guys. You got to be quick with these because today seems like a very strong bullish day, especially on the NASDAQ. ES does have, you know, obviously some resistance here at 65, but which we kind of tried to tap into today. But yeah, not a day for me to look for shorts, to be honest, especially what we're seeing. So unless you want to take a hero trade, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all you.
No, I was actually more interested in like if you were looking to like look at that as a pullback to get long to possibly go higher.
Good idea. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would have had to wait for that candle to close. So I would have probably looked at the 2 minute and decided from there. But yeah, we did hold that level that I have, but yeah, I probably would have waited for this candle to close and then this candle to open for me to consider entering, because my stop would have been below this wick. So that would have given me at least, you know, probably like a 12-point stop or so.
Gotcha.
Which is reasonable. But yeah, something to consider for sure.
Yeah, I'm that crazy guy that catches the falling knife or, you know, shorts the crazy moves up. But I do it with, you know, I don't want to. It's more of that's where the price action and staring at the charts for 5+ years kind of comes into play, because like you start to see how the candles form themselves, like as they're forming themselves, more so than kind of predicting where the price is going to go. So like on a big candle down like that, if it doesn't shoot right back up, I used to call it the jiggle in stocks. Like you can literally, as the candle is like pushing down, you can kind of see it happened really fast, but then you can see the buyers start to step in and it'll start to kind of jiggle back and forth at a certain price point. And that's typically where the buyers and the sellers will kind of be like, all right, you know, that was far enough. Let's try the other way again. And that, you know, when people talk about reading price action, I mean, that's really what they're looking for. They're trying to understand what is actually happening inside that candle. Are the sellers in control? Are the buyers in control? Yeah. And so for me, when I'm catching a fallen knife in this instance, that wasn't a big enough move for me, because like I said, I would have been looking for those bands to get touched. But it's really like, okay, just because it went to my bands doesn't mean that move is done. And especially on like a news move, like with price discovery and stuff like that, you can really see it when that happens, because like it'll go to an area, it'll kind of stop for like, you know, a half second, and we've all seen this before, and then it'll just continue, right? Like no buyer, every buyer's like, no, I'm not stepping in here. But then when it continues, like you'll see each candle, especially on the 1 minute chart, they'll start to kind of get smaller and smaller. And then you can kind of understand that, okay, the buyers are slowly stepping in. The buyers are looking like they want to reverse, you know, not necessarily reverse it, but it could be the people who were short that are just like, okay, I'm happy with taking profit here. Like it's just all those things coming into one, where that's where you kind of have that, you know, like, again, like I said, it's when someone says they're reading price action, which is what I consider myself. It's a very important part of my strat, because a move can happen, but if you're not reading that price action, you can get wiped. Like if you're just blindly entering just because it touches the bands, then you're always going to get wiped out, you know, every once in a while, just because you're not paying attention to what the market's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's very key, because like when that move happened, it happened so fast, and so that would be a no trade for me, right? Because like you said, you'd have to wait for that candle to close. Well, in that case too, it happened so fast that the buyers, you know, whoever was short and probably built up a huge position, they were like, all right, that's the drop I'm looking for. So everyone started, you know, covering their position there, and before you know it, you're almost back up to where the move happened or begun. So it's like a lot of that is very, you got to pay attention, and it's very fast.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't understand that, you know, when they hear reading price action, you know, back in stock terms, they're like, oh, I'll just read the time and sales and I can see the buyers and sellers. And it's like, you know, that's not a bad way to do it, but you don't fully understand the actual movement of the market if you're just staring at a time and sales. You know, people will be like, oh, I'm reading level 2 on time and sales. And it's like, you know, that's not a bad start, but until you can get to the point where you don't need all that and you can actually just see it happening. Like I see the time and sales in the candle.
Yeah.
And that's only something you can do over time, right?
Yeah.
It's just from staring at the charts, knowing what, you know, what works, what doesn't. And here I go getting long-winded again, but
no, I mean,
great. Keep it going.
You make a good point too. I mean, so in that case, would you say like your intuition comes into play?
Very much so, yeah. But it's intuition that is learned, right? It's not something, you know, that I was born with. You know, I wasn't necessarily born to trade. It's literally from years and years of seeing the exact same things happen over and over and over again. And you know, everyone says, you know, history repeats itself, and I don't necessarily like look into that wholeheartedly, because you know, even though it might kind of repeat itself, at the same time it's not necessarily going to repeat itself to a T. So it's more so learning the habits, not necessarily the exact scenarios. And if you can start to learn like what the market's probably going to do, that's what this is all about. And I was a big poker player growing up. So
cool.
A lot of poker transferred into this. And I always use this analogy. Imagine being able to sit down at the poker table, not pay any blinds as the cards get dealt going around, and you just get to sit there and wait for pocket aces, and you only play pocket aces every single time. That would sound pretty amazing, right? Like you just only get to put your money in the middle when you have the best of it. That's what trading is. And I always try to say, like, some of my old buddies that still play poker, I'm like, you guys don't understand, like this is something that you could be very interested in, because once you understand that that's kind of the approach that you take, like you find a setup that's profitable, you find out how to trade the ins and outs of it. And once you do that, you can only sit here and wait for that exact setup. And when it happens, you put your money in the middle and you go for it. And then that's when Mark Douglas comes back in. Once you put it in, you hope you're in the right direction, and that's that. Like, you don't control it anymore.
That's so interesting. We only had one other guest that was a previous poker player. Do you feel like you learn more from? Did you feel like you learned more from poker, or do you feel like you learn more from trading?
So poker is a very complex game, but I would say the biggest thing that you learn from poker is just, again, it's kind of patience, and it's a lot of numbers. It's like a lot of probabilities, a lot of odds, like how much money is already in the middle, you know, how likely am I to make the best hand if I don't think I have the best hand. It's a little bit different, but the analogy I love the best is like, a lot of times you don't want to play bad hands. Like if you're dealt a 2 and a 7, like that's the worst hand that you can be dealt. But if you're dealt pocket aces, that's the best hand you're dealt. So if you can sit here and stare at a screen and only play the best hand every time, like why wouldn't you? Why would you bother playing the 2-7 or like, you know, the 9-4, you know, like there's no need to play that. And that's what I see a lot of people doing when they first get into trading is, you know, they get that FOMO and they see other people making money. They see people making 5 figures on Tradeify TV and they're like, I want to make 5 figures on Tradeify. So they start like, they get that FOMO and then they're like, well, I'll find a setup. And we kind of brushed on this earlier. Like if you are sitting here and you have FOMO and you want to find a trade, you're going to find a trade, whether it's aces or whether it's 2-7, like you're going to find something. And that's where the discipline comes in and the consistency comes in to only teach yourself to trade those high priority setups.
So just to kind of summarize that a little bit, when it comes to at least the poker aspect of it, would you say you've got to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, when to run?
Oh God, here we go.
Never count your money while you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew exactly where. Once you said the first part of it, I was like, I know where he's going with this. Gotta know when to fold.
Stick around. I'll sing it. That's
Now it's gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the day.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're gonna be sitting there like eating dinner with the family. God damn it, Matt.
Yeah, there we go.
Here, I'll give you one back. Okay,
well, is that the original song or is that the where Fallout Boy samples that song? Okay,
the Fallout Boy is a good one, but that's always the original. Tom Steiner. You can't go wrong. Nah, that one gets stuck in my head all the time. It'll be in my head for weeks. I just did it.
There you
myself,
go. There you go.
That particular one is stuck in your head for weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll just the kids know it at this point, like because I'll just be randomly singing, like just humming it or doodying it. How do you? Doodying. This has become a shit show, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Literally dutying. I'm dutying. I'm literally dutying.
Pretty normal at that time in the stream.
I actually got excited again. The way that we moved back up to the highs, I thought we might actually get the opportunity, but now it's just kind of using as resistance again.
Yeah.
Well, it is previous week high. I'm preaching that level all the time. Like it is always a very heavy level, or usually it is 99% of the time.
Sounds like you got a strategy building there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the cool thing. Good.
Oh, someone had asked too, which indicator that you use?
It's the Keltner channels and then when you go into the settings, I don't know if you'll be able, can you see my settings when I share it? Let's see here. Does that pop up? Yeah, it does. Okay. So yeah, it's the 13 EMA. It's the stock 10 ATR period, and then it's the multiplier. I changed it to 4. I think by default it's like 7 or 8, and then the multiplier is only 2. And like I said, I went from like 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13, and then I was like, well, let me try messing with the multiplier too. So I went 7 with 3, 8 with 3, 9 with 3. So it was literally just months of like applying it, watching the market for a couple weeks, applying it, watching the market for a couple weeks. And it took like months for me to kind of start to feel comfortable with actually using it to trade. Yeah. And that's kind of the beauty of prop firms too, right? You can get in pretty cheap to test a strategy. And that was definitely part, because if you're using personal capital, I obviously don't ever recommend that with a new strategy, but you would definitely just go find like a demo account or something like that. But that's kind of what these prop firms are. If you really want to get that skin in the game so that you take it seriously, but at the same time want to be testing out something new, I mean, prop firms are literally the perfect thing for that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think with testing any strategy, like definitely test it on a demo account if you don't want to lose any money. But yeah, prop firms are definitely going to be, Tradeify is going to be one of those where you're not putting in a lot of money to potentially lose a lot. So
I only recommend, so sometimes people ask me that, like, should I do a demo account or should I go with like one of the cheap, like a Tradeify Advanced account or something like that? And I actually always recommend going with like the Tradeify Advanced account, because I mean, how many times have you heard people say like, well, I always make money in demo, but then I go live and I can't make money? And a lot of that is because you have zero emotion when you're trading on a demo account, because there's no money involved. But the minute that you put any kind of money, even if it's, you know, 20 bucks or 40 bucks, you know, whatever it is, once that's actually on the line, you tend to take that a little bit more seriously, and you tend to pay attention a little bit more. You tend to be a little bit more consistent with your entries. You know, you actually stop out, you like, because you don't want to blow the account, because it's real money at that point. So that's the only reason I would recommend that. But if you're like just coming up with a brand new strategy, then yeah, obviously, you know, give it a shot on demo for a while. But once you start to feel comfortable and you think you can make money with it, that's when you could kind of use the prop firms as an advantage.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. Yeah, definitely don't be testing out a brand new account or a brand new strategy on a personal account. But you know, if once you have the strategy down and you feel like you know, trust yourself with it, it's always going to be different when you trade on using real money, right? Like that's always going to be different. Your emotions are going to be different. You know, I'm never against trading on demo accounts, you know, especially just to get your footing down. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be, you know, the real emotion that comes with actually having skin in the game. So that's a big distinction for sure.
Get a watch that keeps your heart rate as well. You'd be surprised. I actually, so on my stream, I'll keep my heartbeat up on the monitor. It was like some cliche thing that people were doing like a year ago, and I was just like, oh, why not?
Oh, that's cool.
And but what it'll show you is that, like, if you have your own, you don't understand, your heart gets moving when you get put into an uncomfortable situation. And what you'll notice when I'm trading, even when a trade's going way against me, like my heartbeat doesn't really move anymore, because I know that that's part of the strategy. But if it's something that you're not fully used to, then you're going to be up in the 100s, you know, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's like, until you kind of get to the point where you can, I say this too all the time, like if you think you have a strategy and you're ready to trade it for real money, I want you to pull out a notebook or a notepad on the computer, and I want you to tell me everything from what you're looking like before you get into the trade to when you're out of that trade. You know, like what does it take for you to get in? How do you find an entry? What are you looking for in an entry? Once you're in the trade, what are you going to do if it goes sideways? What are you going to do if it goes up to the highs? What are you going to do if it goes down to the lows? Like, if you can't tell me the ins and outs of everything that you would do in every single situation that the market can throw at you, then you don't technically have a strategy yet. And you should kind of figure that part out.
How high in the beginning, when you pulled up your heart rate monitor on the screen, like how high would it usually go?
So back, I don't know what it used to be back in the day. But I think by the time I'd already turned it on, like I was already pretty comfortable with what I was doing. So like there would be a couple times it would go up to like 80 or so, but my resting is somewhere around like 68, somewhere around there. Yeah. But I mean, I rarely go above like 76, 77, something like that. But I'll tell you, back in the day when I would be in a short position, now keep in mind, this was only for like $100, couple $100. But you can feel like your heart like racing when you're in a trade. Like you're like, when it doesn't work out right away and it's going against you. Like I remember that feeling from 5, 6, 7 years ago. Like you have this just feeling in your chest that you're just like, please work out, please work out. When in reality, you have no control over it, but your body is so anxious that you like your heart is just going absolutely crazy. That's why I said it's a really good way to kind of measure how you feel when you're actually in a trade. And that's another great thing to journal when you're doing that at the end of the day. If you're journaling, is to like, if you have your heart rate, they're like, all right, well, when I was in this trade, you know, when it did XYZ, my heart rate was this. And you'd be surprised. Like I've never really broke that down before, but you'd be surprised that like how much that can tell you about how you feel and your emotions while you're in a trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is, now I feel like I need to start doing that just to check on it. Cause I have my little Apple Watch that I think you can have a setting that it actually triggers, like it'll vibrate if your heart rate is like elevated all of a sudden, which I've seen that before. I've seen certain traders use that. So that'd be quite interesting. Maybe we do that on the stream.
Yeah, like
Tell Brett
everybody
to
has
get you
the
all
heart
Apple
rate
Watches.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Just put it right up in the corner.
yeah.
I think
That's
Nick's would go crazy when we play that marbles map again.
up.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, that's probably I've never even looked at it, and someone actually just mentioned that to me. I think it was my buddy Steve. He mentioned it to me, I think on like Monday or Tuesday this week, which is completely crazy. But while we were doing marbles one day, he was like, dude, you should put your heart rate monitor up on the marble screen as well. And so I did, but I haven't done it since, because I think I just did it it was either yesterday or Tuesday, or wait, today's Wednesday, so it was either Tuesday or Monday. But yeah, I was just like, that's actually a really good idea, because I probably actually get way more excited like when it comes to the marbles races than I do like while I'm trading, because that's another thing that I always try to tell everyone. Like trading, poker, like they're very similar in that they're boring, right? Like it's boring. It should be boring. But what are we here to do, right? We're here to make money. If you're here to have fun, then you can. It's just like going to the casino, right? Like you take the amount that you're willing to lose, and you're essentially gambling it. And when you lose it, you're like, oh, at least I had fun, right?
Yeah.
I try to teach people. I don't teach, but I try to tell people not to do, have that mindset, because if you're here to like, just wing money around, there's so many other things you could be doing with that money that you can get better use of it. Because in the end, you're going to be dissatisfied that you couldn't make it work. And you're not going to think it was fun, because you came into this thinking it was going to be a quick buck, and it's not.
Right.
All right. Well, Vola, we're gonna boy, this has been an outstanding guest. we really appreciate you. Can you tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, it's Vola Trades on YouTube. It's at Trade Volatile on X. Those are like really the two main ones that I use. I stream every morning when I'm not here. So I usually stream for about an hour and a half. I play marbles every morning. I do cash prizes. There's the different maps. They're called death maps, where it's usually no one wins, but every once in a while someone will go through all the obstacles and actually win. And so I'll put a cash prize on whoever finally beats the map. And that's currently what we're doing. But I do that map that we just played today. Every Friday, I do a giveaway, usually for a 50K straight to funded account with Tradeify on my channel as well. So if anyone wants to check that out via the marbles race. So I try to have, like I said, I try to have a lot of fun, because a lot of my days are like this lately, especially lately, where it's like I'm waiting for a trade. I do trade live on stream. You can obviously, all my streams I leave up on there, so you can go check those out as well. Because they're all there. Like I said, I'm one of the more transparent people you'll find on YouTube. A lot of people hide some things here and there, but I've always been an open book, and I consider myself the mom and pop shop of YouTube when it comes to the trading world, because I try not to. I don't market myself. I don't try to. I just stay in my lane. I try to only attract the people that I want to be around on a daily basis. So.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, we certainly appreciate you stopping by, and you don't have a choice. You will be back at some point, because otherwise I will fly. Well, no, you know what? I'll bring background Nick in, and we're just going to come to your house and drag you in front of a camera sometime. So that's what you get
with the YT next time.
Yeah, that's what you get for being a good guest. So no, but seriously, we really appreciate you being here. Everyone go subscribe to Vola's channel. And yeah, well, we will hope to see you back very, very soon.
I'll be in the chat. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Vola. All right, Miriam.
Wow, that was fantastic. That was absolutely awesome. Great. That was
really good. But Miriam, I see people are disappointed they couldn't follow your screen, because
Miriam,
you just quietly made 10K while interviewing a guest. Like, what the hell?
So, when I usually say we need to talk about your trading, it's a negative thing, but man, we need to talk about your trading. This has been outstanding. You want to pull up a chart and just kind of walk through some general things you were seeing?
Yeah. Let me take a stretch for a minute here, because I feel like I just got I ran through a marathon today. But so quite an interesting day. Definitely a day that very, very easy to just I don't want to say easy. I don't want to say easy. That's not the right word. Really, you guys did see me take this original trade here. I was talking about the 600 level, right? I was talking about the 600 level all day today and mentioning how it really is going to be a key area for us to look at, right? We clearly held, we got a little dip down, but we clearly held the 600. Now, we did get a nice move in the pre-market on this candle here, you know, due to Tesla. Tesla was obviously moving and pumping in the pre-market. So I actually took an initial trade. You guys saw me enter on this 9 EMA here. I got my entry at 642. 642.50 was that original trade that I took with you guys. Now, I did actually enter that short as well. So I was in a previous short. You guys saw me take it in the pre-market. I was in a short from 621, and then I did write it down to 596. So I did take that for about a 30-point trade, and then I re-entered for a long at this 642.50. Now the reason I took the 642.50, we got a nice strong candle here, and then we actually pulled back to the 9 EMAs. Now my stop on this is why I feel like this trade kind of worked out for me really well, because the stop on this was only 10 points. So I was willing to take that risk. I was really willing to risk all the profits that I made on the short in order to get a nice move to the upside. My initial target was VWAP. VWAP was sitting at this 85 level. Now I did take some profit off at 70, and then I did end up getting stopped out at the 74 area. So nice, again, 30, 40 plus move to the upside here. But then the other trade that I took, I was watching the 700 level, okay? And then honestly, to be fair, I was kind of scalping in between here, made a couple $100. But really the big trade for me was the 725 zone. I was watching Bookmaps. Bookmaps had a very clear level of resistance at 730. So I was looking at that area on Bookmaps, very, very clear area that I was watching. So once 730 looked like it was, you know, we're getting the volume to the upside here. So I actually got in at 726. 726 was my entry. Now we did get a nice push, and this EMA, I mean, you guys can see here, this EMA never, even to this point, we never broke this 9 EMA. I told you guys I use the 9 EMA as a way for me to, you know, manage my trade. So really my stop on this was going to be below this 9 EMA. I had a 20-point stop on this trade. Now, we never got the clear, and I just kind of trailed my stop. I didn't take any profit on the way up. I really just kept trailing it. So on this trade alone, I was up pretty decent on this trade. Now I did end up getting, once we got this push up above this supply zone, I was trailing pretty tightly here. You know, I think at one point I had like a 10-point trail, but then we got this nice push up. And I think there was something that came out on this candle, possibly. I think there was a possible trade deal with Vietnam or something like that. But we got this nice move to the upside, and I was trailing tight from there. So I ended up getting stopped out at 83. But yeah, beautiful like 60-point move on this play here. And I did take 5 minis on all my trades today. So, you know, that's another thing too. When you see a you know, 5-figure day, it's not from just trading like really small positions. These were pretty big positions that I was taking. So, you know, 5 minis here, and I was willing, that's another thing, I was willing to risk a decent amount of my profit in order to make these moves. Now obviously my risk to reward was pretty high, but that's another thing too. Like, don't look at this trade and think, oh my God, like, you know, 5-figure trades. These were pretty heavy positions, guys. So if you're trading like, you know, 5 micros, 10 micros, I was trading on a personal account. So I was happy with the risk that I was taking. But that's another thing to consider. Like, don't look at this and be, you know, like wondering like, oh my God, how can you do this with 5 micros or 10 micros? Or you can't, right? Like, there's some days where you have to work yourself up to that point. And, you know, it's not easy to work yourself up to 5 minis, right? You got to take it easy. You got to take it slow. So that's the trades that I took today. And, you know, here we are sitting at this 825 level that we just continue to keep like really struggling at. But yeah, look at this 9 EMA, guys. We're not even breaking this yet. I mean, we are getting a little top heavy here, but even on this pullback that we got, look where we came to, the 9 EMA, and then we just popped off of it. So that's kind of how I manage my trades. Yeah, don't look at this and be like, you know, jealous or, you know, FOMO or anything like that. I don't want you guys feeling that at all. This is something that, you know, I've been trading this for over 5 years. So I've gotten to the point where I'm okay with the risk that I'm taking. And if you guys aren't comfortable with that, it's the same thing that Vola talked about, right? Like we have our own strategies. If you don't have the appetite for the risk, don't follow certain people. Don't think of it as like, oh, I should have stayed in this trade, or I should have, these are just our own appetites for risk. So yeah, definitely don't feel the FOMO for sure. But yeah,
can you go over your entry again? Like, what was the reason for the entry on this trade?
I kind of did that, didn't I? was that not clear?
Just in more detail, because I feel like there's people in the chat, or not, I feel like I see it in the chat. There's some people still not quite understanding why you entered.
So which particular one? Because I entered, I told you guys how I entered on the 9.
The one from 27.
The one from 26.
I think it was 27, right? 727.
It was 726, yeah. So this 26. Again, I was watching book maps at this 30 level. Like you can see it doesn't take a technical analysis to see that this level right here is a very clear area of resistance, right? There were book map sellers sitting at 730, okay? So you can see we had clear resistance. Every time we would come up to here, we'd get the pullback. Every time we'd come up, we'd get the pullback, right? So I was watching this area for a breakout, okay? Kind of similar to how you trade the bull breakouts, right?
Yeah. Now it was actually a nice bull flag too, funny enough.
yeah. So everyone sees something different, right? What I was looking at was the volume on book maps. I was really looking for this area to break. Now, originally, I actually had my entry sitting at the 730 level, but the reason I got on this is because I was watching the volume really coming in and really pushing us. Now, the better entry, right? The better entry would have been at the 705 level, right? When we came back and retested this 9 EMA, that would have probably been the better entry. But I wanted to make sure, and I wanted to ensure that we really were getting the follow through. So I had a limit order sitting at the 726, and you can see right here that's exactly where we broke out from. So 726 was my breakout point. Now again, my risk on this was 20 points. I was willing to risk the bottom of this wick right here. So if we did end up coming back down, I didn't want to see this break. And again, VWAP, this level here was sitting, 700 was sitting here, the 9 EMA was sitting here. So there was a lot of reason for me to put my stop here. So again, I had already made, I think I was up like 3,000 or some $1,000 on this trade, but I was willing to risk at least half of that to make this move to the upside. And I was technically targeting the 768 level. So that's why I kept trailing my stop. I didn't take profits on this. So that was the reason. I hope that made sense for you guys in terms of why I entered this. But really book maps was the reason for that.
There's something that Vola talked about. I think it pertains, and you two were going back and forth a lot, so I was just absorbing and listening. But Miriam, I think is applicable in this particular situation. You talked a little bit about intuition, and I understand what he's saying with that, and there's not really a better word, so it's like I can't really quibble with the choice of vocabulary there. But you never trade off your gut or intuition or anything like that. But there is a part of your head that is attuned to the patterns you're seeing in the markets, right? We've been on this show together for a couple of months now, month and a half ish, whatever. And just together, we've watched thousands of candlesticks open and close. In our careers, I've probably seen 1 million candlesticks open and close over the years, or at least several 100,000, right? And our brains are amazing pattern recognition machines. And so you can see something, and this is something, and one of the things that I think has impressed me most about your trading, Miriam, is that you see a pattern, you execute without hesitation, right? And that's something that comes from years of experience, but it comes from seeing the same patterns or similar patterns play out again and again and again. It's why when I first got into day trading about 6 years ago, I asked a very experienced day trader, one of my first mentors in the space, I said, what's the most important thing? He said, screen time. It's screen time. It's sitting in front of your screen, watching the candles opening and closing, watching the indicators that you gravitate towards and how they adjust to price action and volume and all those types of things. And when you've done it for a month, you'll be better than you were when you started. When you've done it for a year, you'll be better than when you've done it for a month. And it just keeps going and going and going. And you get to the point, for me, I want to say it was about 5 years. Where I don't want to say you anticipate, we trade what we see, not what we think, but the patterns just begin to make a lot of sense. And it seems like that's a lot of what you're referring to.
Yeah, and it really is like when I say screen time, guys, I'm not talking about like you need to place a trade every single time. Like screen time really just involves spending time on the screens, not even having to take a trade sometimes. And this is what, I know we talked about like paper trading and demo trading and all that. I really think it could be a good way of practicing on a demo account to really look at how you would position yourself into a trade. There are some days, I mean, there have been many days on the stream where I, either traded enough for myself for the day, and there were plenty of trades that would have played out for me that I could have taken, but instead I just sit there and I watch, right? There are many trades that I don't take that are very solid setups. And for me, I think that's also another important aspect of trading is just simply like, I don't want to say sit on your hands, but like just look and just observe and look at what the price action is doing. And it really does take you away from that emotional side, because it forces you to sit and just watch. And that's part of trading that a lot of people don't talk about. They think, oh, chart time means trading. And no, it doesn't. And another thing too that I really want to highlight is like, to get to the point of making 5 figures or whatever. This isn't my biggest day, guys. This is I've had bigger days than this, but for me, when I started, I had to start very small. So for me, in especially in options, right? Like when I first started, I started in options. Options is extremely volatile. I mean, you can see your P&L fluctuate very, very much in options. And I think what's important too is starting off with a small account, right? When I first started in futures, I funded it with $500. Okay. I took $500 to $2,000. And from there, I just kept redoing it and redoing it. I was literally rinsing and repeating because I got, there was one girl that, I don't know her name, but I had heard in the community who had literally, she would take $400 and turn it into $10,000. And she did that over a repeated amount of time to where she actually, she made like $100,000 out of it. And so I thought that was so amazing. I was like, wow, like she really took technically $400 and turned it into $100,000. That's amazing. So I feel like that's another challenge too. Like if you can take a small amount of money and turn it into something big, you can make 5 figures. Like that to me is so important as a trader. Like to take a small account and turn it into a bigger account. Like if you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to take $100,000 and turn it to $1 million. Like it really does take a small, like the little what is it? The selectivity you have to have in turning $500, right? Because you don't have a lot of money to work with. So if you don't have a lot of money to work with, you have to be extra selective with your trades, which means if you can take $500 and turn it into $1,000 or turn it into $2,000, then yes, there's a likelihood that you can take $10,000 and turn it into $20,000, right? So I think the biggest thing is like when we see these big amounts of money, it triggers our brain into thinking like, oh my gosh, when we're in this trade, right? I technically was risking $2,000 to make, 6,000. And so for me, a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't risk $2,000. And that's okay. You need to size down for that. You need to start small, because if you start with $500 and you risk, $50, $100 most, then that might be a little bit more, reasonable for you. So start there, start small and see what you can do with that. Because I promise you, if you can't take small amount and turn it into a bigger amount, you're not going to be able to deal with higher amounts of money. So always start small, guys.
Yep. Very true. That's what got me in the first place when I had the big losing day where I lost 140K, because I wasn't used to the numbers. So it's such important advice. It's something we like to overlook, because as a trader, you want to make money, right? You start trading because you want to make money. And it's so funny to me, like most people who are earning, let's say, I don't know, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, maybe $30 an hour, they come into trading and they make, let's say they have a trade and they make like $200, and they're like, oh, that's such a little amount of money. Yet that would be like 10 hours of work in their 9 to 5. And that comparison, like realistic comparison to what you make in your current job to then what you make in trading, and sticking to like, hey, just replacing your 9 to 5 salary with it as a first step is such an underrated way to look at things, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're going from, if you really take like your 9 to 5 and you say, oh, say you're averaging like, I don't know, let's just say $200 a day, right? And you're 9 to 5. And you're making more than that in a day. Like what makes you think that you're going to be able to, why wouldn't you be happy with $200 a day? Why wouldn't you be happy with 500 or even 1,000, right? Like anything that you can do to surpass or even equal what you're currently making is a win. That is a win. So, you got to see it from that perspective too. Like don't come in this thinking it's an easy way. I'm sorry, it's a hard way to make easy money. And this is a trading life. Like it could be very easy, right, to make 10K, but you could also lose 10K very easily too. I mean, I've had my fair share of losses as well. So, it's not one of those where you want to go into it thinking like, all right, if I just put an amount of time learning this, I can get to $3,000 a month, very easily. And yeah, I guess that's doable, but it might take you a couple years, right? It might take you the first year. If you are breaking even the first year, that's a freaking win. That is a win. So, I look at this as you're probably going to lose money for a good amount of time. And then you might start like teetering off, breaking even. And then you might start like, making a little bit here, a little bit there. And then you get more to a consistent period where, now you're starting to make decent money. So it's not linear by any means, but it's also, you have to look at it in stages of, all right, if I'm not losing money, if I'm just breaking even, that is a huge win. That is a huge win. Not a lot of traders even get to that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that was a great summation. I certainly appreciate that. So I wanted to kind of go back. I don't know if Joker's still in the chat, but Joker had a really good question early on in the show, and I see people talking a little bit about struggling. I'm sorry? He's not in here. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully he's able to circle back with us on Monday. But basically talked about having some levels of success and then kind of stalling out and plateauing the last month or so. Well, first, the last month or so has not been the easiest trading, right? I mean, you just saw... Yeah, again, guys, this is one of the things that really bugs me is some people will be like, well, so-and-so made this money or so-and-so made this money or so-and-so. Well, guys, we have had, I don't know how many, 10, 11 guests on this show in the first month and a half, maybe a few more. And guys, we have not had two people with the same strategy. And yet there's a lot of similarities between all those individuals, right? And some strategies have been firing off like crazy, like a break trader like Miriam has been killing it these last couple of weeks because that's the markets that we've been seeing. Whereas somebody like Vola who sat here and was looking for something, right, and is a very successful trader. We've seen the proof on that. Where sometimes when we're just screaming new all-time highs and he's looking for a little bit of a pullback, I mean, really we haven't pulled back much from even our highs today. We're back, 20, 30 points. We haven't seen 50, 60, 70 point pullback since we screamed higher on this move. So, guys, I agree. And somebody brought up, and listen, I always have to acknowledge a little bit of irony and hypocrisy in this, but when, you see certain influencers who are just screaming about all the money that they make. And listen, guys, we're not going to get into a discussion who legit, who not, or do this or do that, or somebody needs to gatekeep this or that. And we're not doing all that. I don't have time for that bullshit, and neither do the other hosts on this stream. But guys, don't ever compare yourself to anybody else's career, right? And that's why I remember when back in my day, when I first started trading, trading influence, they weren't a thing, right? So you had to now you still had to comb through, scam artists selling courses, and guys, not every person who sells a course or offers some is a scam. I'm not saying that, but they were certainly a thing, and so there was always some sort of level of discretion, right? But it's no different now. You've got to be smart. If somebody's telling you how easy this is, and look at all the, first of all, I want to know how many accounts they're failing behind the scenes before they got to that big payout that they're splashing all over social media. But at the same time, guys, you are in competition with yourself, and that's it, right? It's cool when we can come together, we can make some money together, guys. But I don't know how many more legit people we need to bring onto the stream that'll tell you that they're, the moment that I say Vola just did it, we've had, I'm trying to remember back to I think Rips might've talked about it as well, where they'll tell you the moment they stop trying to be somebody else is the moment they started to get it, and the money follows, right? Miriam's an incredible trader. You know what would screw me up if I tried to trade like Miriam? I bet it would screw Miriam up if she tried to trade like me. You guys trade like her or me or Nick or this or that or this guy or that guy or this guy. Well, this influencer made a bunch of money. This person's right. It's so mind numbing sometimes, right? And it's understandable. It has never been easier to be a beginning trader, and it's never been harder to be a beginning trader, because it's never been easier, because you have access to capital you would not otherwise have access to, the ability to prove yourself in an eval, get access to leverage, get payouts. It's never been harder to sift through all the bullshit than there is out there. Okay, and again, I'm fully acknowledging this as a host of a YouTube trading show right now, right? But guys, this is you have to show some levels of discernment, and anybody who's telling you this is easy, I know there's people on YouTube that are legit and make a ton of money. Some of them are honest, and they talk about how hard it was to get to that level, right? Almost every guest going back from Vola today to Rips when we first started has said, God, yeah, I got my ass kicked the first few months in the market, or first couple of years in the market. It was about a year and a half for me before I was even break even in my trading career, right? So you have to do the work. You have to put it in. If you're looking for that magical indicator, if you're looking for that magical system, if you're looking for that magical person, you just need to follow their trades and everything will be okay. You're going to continuously end up disappointed. I don't know how many more ways to say that.
Exactly. Preach. Yes.
Preach it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah. It's really hard in this industry too, in terms of, there's this sense of like instant gratification. I mean, you guys have seen it. You can make thousands of dollars in like literal seconds. And I think that's what really messes a lot of people's psychology up, because, in many cases, even me included, I've been up, I could see myself up, a couple thousand and then take another trade. Oh, just one more trade, right? Because you get greedy and you just want more. And it was so easy for you to make those couple thousand that why couldn't you just make more, right? So then you get into another trade and then now you're down on the day, right? That can mess you up psychologically, and it can make you feel like, oh, as quickly as it came, it definitely went away just as quickly. So, not only does this industry require you to be extra patient and find that like the instant gratification aspect of it really is a facade. It really is something that, yeah, you can make very quick money, but it's really not easy to continuously do that, right? To be consistent in that is a whole nother thing. And you just have to be in a position to where you are okay with taking the losses, right? You're okay with taking the minimal losses. I mean, you guys saw me get called out by Coach Tank yesterday, right? Like, and I think that was an important lesson in terms of, I'd already preached to you guys, like, for as long as I can remember being a trader, I've always had a rule for myself of I won't take two back-to-back losses. If I take two back-to-back losses, I'm done for the day. And for me, it was really a good perspective for him to ask me, is like, hey, are you taking this, is this rule set, based off of a disciplinary rule, or is it based off of fear? Because when I first had this rule for myself, I really struggled with that stuff. I really struggled with being, a revenge trader, with being someone who just like, I would go from like green to red really quickly, and then I would start spiraling and over trading. I struggled with that a lot. And, not to say that that's not something that can show up once in a while, but it's definitely, I'm a very different trader than I was 5 years ago. And so, rules like that for me really gave me perspective, because it's like, you have to understand who you are now as a trader compared to where you were, and understand too, like, maybe some of the strategies, maybe some of the indicators that you're using are not working. And that's where back testing comes in, right? And yeah, so I say all this to say that, like, you're constantly evolving as a trader, and you constantly have to identify and ask yourself, like, is this something that still works for me? Is this something that just needs to be tweaked a little bit? For me, I didn't start using book maps until about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I'm sure there's still not the best ways that I'm using it, but it has helped me understand certain price levels, and, help me in the way that I trade. I'm a very aggressive trader, guys. I am not like, I'm a very, very aggressive trader. That's the best way I can put it. Like, I will get in and get out real quick if I have to. So, for me, it's worked for me. It's another reason why I probably don't know how to be a swing trader, because I just can't be patient like that and sit in a trade for hours. So, it's just my trader identity. That's just who I am. And has it burned me before? Yeah, of course. But for the most part, it works for me. And so I'm able to, look at trades from intuition, from just pattern recognition, from book maps is telling me, and just identify, okay, is my risk okay on this. And I see your question, Ashan. I know that you're asking about how I use bookmaps. It's one of those things where, I mean, I'm happy to share my charts here and show you guys, but I look for certain levels. I look for certain areas on bookmaps. The thing is, I don't want to get you guys into the idea of like, oh, bookmaps is the way. And, you know, I know I talked to you guys about bookmaps, but it's not something that I recommend for new traders, especially if you're still developing your edge, if you're still developing your strategy. I would not recommend bookmaps, only because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Even for me, I told you guys, I'm still getting used to using it. So definitely don't look at this as like, oh, now everyone needs to get bookmaps. No, I mean, I could have still easily taken this trade without bookmaps. That's another thing. Is like a lot of these trades that I took, I didn't use bookmaps for my first 2 trades. I didn't. Yeah, I have it in the background. I look at it, but these are also, you know, trades that I don't need bookmaps for, right? I don't ever need bookmaps. There are some days where I don't use it at all, and I'm still taking good trades. So I just want you guys to understand that, like, yeah, these indicators are there to provide confluence, but they're not meant to just particularly place your trade on. So yeah, I think that's just an important indication of like figuring out who you are as a trader and what works for you.
I do want to add, because I did a couple of small things with Bookmap several years ago. I'm not an affiliate for Bookmap, but I am somehow on their affiliate email list. And somebody said they're doing a big sale starting this weekend. That is correct. I don't know what would be allowed to announce, even though I'm not an affiliate for them. But just, guys, 4th of July and Black Friday are 2 of the biggest times to load up on, like, TradingView. If you're somebody who uses TradingView, do not ever pay full price for TradingView or TradeSync, the journal. Trades out, you know. And again, I have no business relationship with any of these companies. I'm not an affiliate. But if you use anything outside of whatever platform and data feed is provided to you by Tradeify, their 4th of July and Black Friday are always sales. They usually do sales on annual stuff. First of all, don't ever buy an annual subscription to something you've never tried, right? But if you're somebody who looks to load up on that, actually, I've got to load up on TradingView again. Like 3 years ago, I bought like 3-4 years worth of their thing. I'm finally down to like the last 200 days with them. But yeah, TradingView I think is 80% now. So guys, that one quick way to save money, even as you're getting into your career and being successful, is to for something right? Like you use. Seek out any sort of annual deals they got and go from there. Or a little hack, as one of my buddies found out. He actually became, I can't remember what company it was. Affiliates got a really good discount, so he became an affiliate and just used the code himself. He never did anything else outside of that. But yeah, guys, anytime you have the opportunity to save a little money in this business, even if you're making a ton, right? As I've made more money over the years, I get a little more frugal with some of the stuff that I spend it on. But I have like 3 of my annual subscriptions due next week, and so I'm taking advantage of 4th of July sales to stock up on some stuff. So yeah, guys, anything you use outside of course, the free data feed and any platform that you choose to use when it comes to your Tradeify account, now's a great time to stock up on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I bought mine like 5 years ago and I don't even know when it expires. It just renews.
Yeah.
But
also, Perloco asking, no more marble races? Yes, we do have one more if we get the stream to 700 likes. So 700 likes, and we're going to do one more marble race for a 25K straight to funded account. All right. Hit that like button really quick. And we're going to give you another chance.
nice.
We can also take some questions from the chat here. So if anybody wants to ask.
Yeah, we got 45 minutes, and you're not going to have us for 4 days, guys. So
I know. What are you going to do?
Out.
Yep.
Without us?
700.
Doobie doobie doo.
Doobie doobie doo. There's a song called Zooby Zooby Doo. I think that's what it's called.
Scooby-Doo? I just know Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's by Sophia Loren. Zooby Zooby Zoo. I heard it in a restaurant and I was like, this is hilarious. I like this.
I loved Sophia Loren in the Grumpier Old Men. Like, I know she did a lot of stuff when she was younger and, the Bombshell and all that, but she was so funny in that movie. I mean, it's fiction because Sophia Loren is never ending up with a Walter Matthau in real life, but it was absolutely hilarious. The Grumpy Men and Grumpier Old Men, 2 of my favorite comedies of all time.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to watch it this weekend.
Yeah, there's two of them. They're bad. It's just Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau just roasting each other for an entire movie. It's hilarious.
Boundless. Any plane jumping or traveling you all are doing for this extended weekend? I might go wake surfing actually. No plane jumping.
Ooh,
Wake surfing. Yeah.
Eh?
Have you ever done it, Miriam?
I think I've been wakeboarding. I don't know if that's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. So with wakeboarding, you have like you're attached to the rope all the time, right? Or holding on to the rope all the time. With wake surfing, it's kind of like the boat makes a wave behind the boat, and then you just surf in that wave, but you don't need a rope. You know, you just need the rope to get out of the water. But once you're out of the water, you just surf the wave. Basically, it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Okay.
It's way more fun than wakeboarding.
Yeah, wakeboarding, I don't know. I got kind of scared doing it a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that. It's fast, and when you fall, it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you see it on screen now. Drew is on it. That's wake surfing.
Nice.
It's a bit of an old
okay.
photo, but
Wait, so how do you make sure that you're not gonna like, I don't know. So you basically have to be really good at that, because if you just even veer off of it a little bit, like
the thing is it's way slower. It's way slower than wakeboarding. So basically, like if you fall off the wave, like if you fall back, basically nothing is gonna happen. You're just gonna kind of like slowly sink. But then if you fall on your face, it's not as hard because it goes way slower than wakeboarding.
Coop.
Is
that Matt?
No, you're never gonna catch. You're not gonna catch me at one of those dumbass things. Nick is our resident adrenaline junkie. If there's a picture with some meat on a grill and a beer, you know that's probably me.
Well, Matt, if you get adrenaline from wake surfing, you have a different kind of problem.
Okay, I'm sorry. I haven't jumped out of any planes recently. My bad.
Okay, so Nick's the resident adrenaline junkie.
Apparently.
So what are you
actually, Nick? You do defy the adrenaline junkie stereotype, because usually those people bomb out of trading in a year or two because like full port, let's go YOLO.
Well, that's the other Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's into adrenaline sports. So I see he's in the chat here, but I don't know if he can hear us.
All American. Yeah, Midwest motherfuckers. That's right. Y'all can keep LA.
LA.
Oh,
I see Nick is starting to talk about giving away 150K straight to funded accounts if we hit 14K subscribers.
All ticked out, you joke, but I went to a charcuterie bar last weekend. That was freaking amazing.
Yeah,
did you get
really cool?
It really was.
Adrenaline from that?
Fantastic. I'm sorry?
Did you get some adrenaline from that?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. You got to take it where you can get it at this point. Man, listen, y'all got it coming.
Good though.
Y'all got it coming. When you hit 40, when you wake up and you've got that new pain, that's permanent now. So just be ready. Yeah, Nick, you're doing the right thing. You're getting it all in your 20s, man.
Getting out of your system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got mine all out of my system when I
don't watch a lot of I don't have TikTok, but I saw somebody had sent me a TikTok video of a guy who's like says, I'm 40. The only clubbing I'm doing is Costco and Sam's. And I'm like, yes. The other's like, I'm 40. If there's no seating, I'm not going. I'm like,
no,
yes.
Really though. Really.
Yeah.
I can't go to a concert if there's no seating, do not even invite me. I am not going.
Yeah, fair.
No way.
Fair.
I am not standing in the ground pit.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we're sitting at 699 likes. We need 700 for that next giveaway. Okay, we are at 700 now. Nice. Let's go. Let's do another marbles race. So, as usual, to participate in this, you have to like the stream, you have to be subscribed to the channel, and you type the keyword TTV for Tradeify TV in the chat. Good luck, everybody. And then it was quiet.
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking to myself again.
Getting more songs stuck in everyone's head.
Know when to walk away.
There we go.
Know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough to count. When the dealing's done.
Sing them.
Yeah, there we go. Bet you didn't tune in thinking you get a little Kenny Rogers on the stream today.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, good old Kenny Rogers. Reminds me of Santa Claus.
I don't, I can get my voice down there, but I've always been upset. Yeah, I can sing okay, but like I've always been upset I can't get down there to Johnny Cash level. I would. You guys would never. I wouldn't. I'd get fired in the week one. I'd be breaking out Johnny Cash on this stream so much.
We're 230 subscribers away from 14K. So if you haven't shared the stream already on your socials, make sure to do that, so we actually can hit it and get you some 150K straight to funded.
Yeah, Sydney, I joke about that song, but it's like it really is a great analogy for poker, and I think even a better analogy for trading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go in, do your work, play the probabilities, and when it's done, it's done.
Drew, whenever we're ready, feel free to pull up that marbles race for a 25K straight to funded account.
We got a freaking flying saucer in the background. This is wild.
Plinko UFO race.
I feel like Drew was doing some like research in the background to see which ones.
Also, Matt, Joker is back. Joker is back in the stream. If you want.
All right, Joker, retype your question, and we'll get to it after this. Thanks for coming back. We'll get to it back after this marble race.
Mm-hmm.
This is some convoluted shit right here.
Oh, are they getting abducted by that UFO?
Oh no, that sucks. I hope these aren't the aliens with the anal probes.
Whoops. Oh, they can't. Can they go through? Oh yeah, they can. I thought it would block
what is
them.
it supposed to do?
Oh, Steven just got abducted.
Oh no.
Turbo Skeeter in the lead right now.
Oh, does it like throw
also
you out?
Yeah, it seems like it. Turbo Skeeter, Turbo is on
More
it.
of the world shit going on here.
That's nuts.
Free Mind currently in the lead, but the UFO is coming for you guys. Uh-oh. Free Mind still in the lead. Whoop, just got overtaken there. Just got overtaken. Now I can't even see it anymore. So much is happening. You're still on
The
it.
noise.
That UFO noise.
Yeah.
Is Turbo gonna make it, or is he gonna fall to death? Well, congrats, Turbo.
Nice.
You just won a 25K straight to funded account.
Yay.
So make sure to type something really quick, and then also add your email address to your YouTube channel description so we can reach out to you and send you your account. But keep in mind, Background Nick is out this week, so you will receive your account next week. Turbo for the win.
There you go. These damn races. Oh wait.
Wait,
You won.
wait, you're saying these damn races are rigged, but you
You
won?
won.
Yeah. Okay, Skeeter. Talk that
rigged it.
shit.
I don't think you realized that you won. You didn't lose.
Yep. But he's one of our regulars, so he definitely deserves to win. Just not sure if he realizes that he won.
Right.
He's on a delay. That'd be hilarious if he was like 3 minutes behind. He just shit talking the race the whole time, and
kidding.
Yeah, hold on. Just kidding.
All
just
right, all right.
Give me my
kidding.
price. All right, Matt, Joker has typed out his question again. It's in 2 parts. If you scroll up a bit, you can see it.
All right, I'm looking for it. Okay. Okay, so been consistently profitable since January. Got some payouts. Now I'm in the edge of getting bigger payouts, and I'm stuck since 30 days. My setups don't have follow-throughs, and a full to hit has been a rare thing for the last month. So I got worried if I should change something with my strategy or being impatient here. Okay, so let me kind of take 2 cracks at this, and then I'll pass it along to the rest of the team here. But so first of all, again, the last month and a half has been some wild trading. So you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater too quick. That being said, I've said quite a few times on this show, and especially over the course of the past 7 or 8 sessions, you should always have at least 1 or 2 systems in development at any given time, right? You should always have at least one system that you're testing, trialing, back testing, whatever you're able to do, or just forward, visually forward testing it, et cetera, et cetera. Again, if you've had a pretty consistent, and I don't know how long you've been trading, but even 7 to 8 months of consistent or semi-consistent profits, and then you hit a little bit of a stall, that's going to happen in your career. You're going to have, hopefully you don't have a ton. Once you're really consistently profitable, hope you don't have a ton of red months, but you might. You're going to have some red weeks. You're sure as shit going to have some red days. So again, trust the work you've put into the system. Now, if 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, your system's still not really kind of, then maybe just don't throw it out, but sideline it for a few weeks, or basically take it back into development and just paper trade it for a little while you're doing trading on whatever other systems or setups that you take. You need to treat, in a lot of ways, you need to treat your trading like a big tech company, right? Like, I don't want to say Apple because they have more money than God at this point, but like a startup tech thing where you need to constantly be coming out with a new product. Now, sure, whatever product you put out may be doing very, very well, but you still need to have multiple products in the pipeline at any given point. Like a smaller biotech is probably a good example of that. They're only as good as their last trial or their last drug, right? As us, as traders, we're only as good as our last trade and our last system. So again, I understand kind of where the question's coming from and a little bit of the anxiety. So kind of to summarize, number one is every system is going to have slow times, right? It's going to have times where the system just doesn't work as well as you're accustomed to. Maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months. Some of the first systems that I traded, I don't ever trade anymore, right? But you can take away a little of that anxiety by always having 1 or 2 systems in development at any given time. So highly encourage you to do that. And I'll toss it over to you guys.
Yeah. Very important. In June, I had my first red month in a very, very long time. So it does happen, right? It does happen even when you're consistently profitable. It just is part of trading. And again, like, trading is the hardest easy money you will ever make. That also means that when you make really, really good money, don't spend it on stupid stuff, but rather make sure you have kind of like a war chest, is what I like to call it, where you just have money that if you do have a red month, it literally does not matter, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the most important things to say about that. But also, I know that you've been very, very consistent with your strategy. I know that you've been following your rules. I know that you've been sticking to the system. And I think for you, it's just right now, the most important thing is to accept that it's never gonna go as fast as you would like it to go. And you just gotta stay patient, because right now you're kind of like at that moment where if you change something, you're basically going to start from zero again, because all that you've built over the last years, you need to redo with a new system, a new strategy, a new change, or whatever. But if you stick with your system, I mean, if you would have like 3 red months in a row, okay, that's a different kind of story. But you did not have red months before. I saw your P&L and it was going up. And now that you had 1 red month, thinking about giving up on that strategy that took you to where you are right now makes 0 sense. Right? So I just think it's about sticking with it and staying patient, and you will get there. That's my 2 cents on that.
I don't think I need to say anything else. I mean, you guys pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, I think the biggest thing I would say is you're going to have seasons. You even see like the biggest traders, the best traders, right? Like, but everyone goes through seasons of of wins. And this is just not even in trading in general, like literally in life. We all go through seasons. We have moments where we're just fucking killing it. We're killing it. We're on a hot streak. Like, and there are seasons where it's like, what the hell is happening? Like, you just can't catch a break. You can't get a good trade in. You can't get, you get stopped out in every single, it's super frustrating. And I think confidence is one of those things that will be the killer of your trading journey. I think it's really just observing and looking at, like, what is it exactly that is messing you up, right? That's where the beauty of journaling comes in. That's where back testing comes in. It's looking at, if you've been trading the same thing for years on end and it's worked for you, it's a profitable system, maybe it's something else. Maybe there's something else personally that's going on. Maybe that, for me, that happened to me for a good amount of time where, I was on a hot streak. And then all of a sudden, like the next month, I could not catch a break. It was literally like 2 weeks in a row where I was just red. And at that point, I was like, all right, what the hell, right? Because it really ruins your confidence as a trader when you're taking loss after loss after loss, and like you at that point you just want a win. It doesn't even matter how much it is. You're just itching for a win, and you can get really down on yourself. And I think again, for me, one of the biggest things was like I was going through a lot. I had a lot of personal stuff happening to me, which is why one of my other rules for myself is I don't trade when I'm emotionally charged. Emotionally charged could be a positive thing, it could be a negative thing. It could just mean that there's a lot going on in my life. And that's recently what had happened to me when I realized like my trading was just going to shit. I was consumed with so much going on in my life. Like literally you could tell me something, you could tell me that like, I don't know. I don't know. You could tell me anything and I would just probably start crying. I don't know, whatever it was. But in terms of that, you got to look at like what is really causing your trades to go south. And it could also be the market. You have to be agile with this market. A little tweak to your strategy here and there might be what it needs, but that's rarely the case, I would say. Most of the time it could be another factor.
Absolutely. I do want to address the question. I know you responded to it in chat there, Cody's question about when to take payouts. Nick, I think you should start us off with this one simply because like I mostly trade my personal account when I'm trading. Yeah. So I know you have dealt with the firms for a while. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, when should you take profits on props and how much? Well, me personally, my mantra is if you can get paid, get paid. Like the more, like all the money that you can take out, take it out. A prop is not a place to build up a buffer, like a huge buffer, and then scale that account. A prop is a place to leverage a low amount of money that maybe you only have a low amount of money, like leverage that amount into more money, right? And then as soon as you can get paid, because most props actually require you to leave a buffer anyways. So that is the buffer that you leave, obviously, because you can't take that out. And then you just keep going with that same strategy and you take some of the profits that you take out and maybe invest into a new account or a larger account and scale that way. But the money that you can take out, take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would even go further with that in that, I mean, obviously this is not, before I took this job, I was not overly familiar with Tradeify. So I asked around, what's the reputation? And I found it was a very good reputation as far as payouts, very good reputation as far as customer service, all that. So I'll say, okay, if I'm going to, be a part of a company, I want to make sure it's a good one. And I found out it was, which is one of the reasons I'm on the stream right now. But guys, there are a lot of less than reputable firms out there. There's been some that have gone under in the last couple of years, some that have gone under in the last couple of weeks, right? So that's another reason I would say when you have the ability to take a payout, take a payout. And that doesn't mean you drain it down to, all the way at the, or, get to the point where one bad trade stops you out. But I agree with Nick, pay yourself, right? And even if there, I saw somebody say, well, I've done well for the last couple months. I don't really need to take a payout, so I'm going to leave it. Well, but again, especially if it's with a less than reputable firm, again, you're not going to have this problem at Tradeify, but you never know it. It may be gone in the next week. So take that money, put it in savings account if you don't have any immediate use for it. You always want to leave, guys, because I worked with a trader about a year ago who had two funded accounts. Got to the point he took about $5,000 payout from each one and then lost the accounts. Well, what he did something smart though. He had set of that $10,000 he took out, $2,000 aside to, and that was his, as he said, my get the accounts back money. So he was able to take, he didn't have to worry about money he had earmarked for something else. He was able to say, okay, I have this money set aside specifically for this. Let me go back into the eval stage, do what I need to do. It's a bit of a slog to get back there, but he did. And he didn't have that stress of, gosh, how am I going to pay for, whether, obviously straight funded accounts can be a little more expensive, or pay, $60, $70 for an account, maybe, a little for an activation fee or whatever the case may be. It was already figured in. So yes, when you can pay yourself, pay yourself.
Yeah. Well, and if you're consistent enough, I mean, Tradeify will move you to a live account, right? Like, we're always looking to move live traders. Like, we want the live traders. We want the good guys. So
you should get to talk to Tank.
Exactly.
You get to Tank,
exactly.
yeah.
You don't want to miss that out. So we definitely reward, those who are consistent, that can, you won't get to a point where you're building too much of a buffer and you're not getting paid for that. Like, definitely utilize the consistency and ability to move into a live account and get on that leaderboard, guys. So we want to see all those that won straight to funded accounts. We want to see you guys on the leaderboard.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
absolutely
want to see you on the leaderboard, and then have you on as a guest here at Tradeify TV. So we can do a sick interview together like we did with Vola trades today. And also, of course, marble races.
I always come back to the, comrade, I see you finish your vodka there.
Yes, that was bottle number 2.
Number 2 in just a couple of...
That's it?
That's it?
2. But
you don't finish one more by end of stream, we revoke your Russian citizenship.
Okay, let's open another one. Okay, let's...
No, I really do want to know how many of those you're drinking on each stream.
Well, I am drinking about like 2 to 3.
Why do you think he needs a break every stream?
Yeah, it's true.
2 to 3 per stream. Stay hydrated, guys.
All right.
How many liters or whatever cups is that? I don't know what metrics.
Like 2 to 3 liters per stream. So I drink probably about 4 to I would say around 4 liters a day.
Good Lord.
And most of it during the stream.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
All right, guys. So we just have a few more minutes with you. So we do want to open it up for any questions. We're just really stalling out in the markets. Boy, we gotta bring Vola back on. He left and the markets went to shit. Yeah. Vola, if you're still here, get your ass back on stream. We want the markets to move.
Yeah, we really look at this resistance zone that we're sitting at. I mean, 822, 825. I think that's an area that you had mentioned too, Nick, right?
Yep.
825. Okay.
Yeah, that is the previous week high.
Okay. Yeah, we're really just stalling there. That 847, I mean, we didn't quite we missed it by about 2 ticks, but that 848 level was really the resistance zone that we're, the high of the day that we really hit. We are, we're really trying here to move to the upside. There were definitely areas where we broke this 9 EMA. We're getting some volume coming in here. Nice push up, but yeah, I think, this would have been an area obviously where I would have gotten out at some point, but I think right now we're just really trying to make lower high or higher lows. So I think this next area, if we can break 850, we have a clear shot to 885, 840, some sellers sitting there I see. But it feels a little toppy. But not to say we couldn't just rip higher.
Skeeter, in Russia, we're not worried about the Swiss. What they going to do? Give us a stern look of disapproval? It's Friday-ish.
Yeah.
It's Friday, Wednesday. White tea Wednesday.
White tea Wednesday on a Friday. Or it's Friday on a Wednesday.
That's what I'm saying. It's white tea Wednesday every day.
Yeah. That's
how this works. But I'm glad, Miriam. I'm actually really grateful that you did wear white today, because that's actually the only reason why you made 10K.
Yeah. The only reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I just suck as a trader. Oh man.
All right, next. That's looks like you're using that account how I recommend. That's outstanding. Yeah, guys, you should always have, obviously Tradeify has a number of accounts at a number of different price points with advantages, et cetera. But if you're in a straight to fund and you're having some success, that's great. Maybe pick up a 50K growth account for, to demo out strategies here or there. Like that's I know people complain about the rules in the prop firms, right? Like people, Tradeify's rules are not that bad at all. In fact, they're pretty trader friendly. And yet, I'm in the Discord. I read all that stuff, right? Like, why don't you just get rid of all the rules? All right, okay, fine, man. But in all honesty, like those rules are really good benchmarks for a strategy, right? And I know different accounts maybe have end of day or trailing drawdown or whatever, but like I know trailing drawdowns can be annoying, like in unrealized trailing drawdowns. But if you have anything that's off to $2,000-$3,000 off your trailing high, like that might not be a system that can really work, or your trade management just sucks, right?
Yeah.
So those are like the basic growth accounts, guys, are really good accounts to test out strategies in. And as the gentleman just said there, or excuse me, I didn't see it, but it's a great opportunity. If it works, you already have an account for it. And I know traders that have a number of accounts and they use a different strategy in each one. So yeah, guys, I will tell you this, probably 90% of the prop firm money that I've spent has been on accounts to demo out strategies. And if it works, great. You got a funded account to use the strategy. And if it doesn't work, all right, you might be out $100 or a little more, but something doesn't work without taking it back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. We did talk to a recent guest about that, about how they trade different strategies and use certain accounts for that. I think it was Tom, I believe. Tom was the one.
Yeah, and guys, don't get too hung up on the rules. If you can trade, you can trade, right? Like I'm not saying some rules, yeah, I get it, right? But at the same time, I understand you can full port or YOLO your way to passing an account, maybe even to a payout. You're not going to get to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 payouts without a defined strategy. You're not going to get moved to a live account without a defined strategy. You're not going to make enough money to have your own account without a defined strategy and without the ability to trade it. So that's what you should be focusing on. Like I said, the prop firms have been a huge boon to traders. There's next to no barrier to entry in terms of time and money, right? Like, there are for $100, $150, you can have an account, a data feed, a platform, and be set up in 5 minutes, right? Like I remember my first futures account, I filled out like 20 pieces of paperwork for a bunch of stuff, and I had to go to my bank and wire money in. Right? It's a pain in the ass, and that's gone. But at the same time, it creates these artificial barriers in your trading, right? Like somebody will fail 5 accounts and then pass the 6th one and think they've got it all figured out. Well, no, pass 3 or 4 in a row before you think you figured it out. Get to your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th payout, and that's when you've got it figured out. So don't necessarily assume. I mean, I've always said, if you pass your first eval on the show or take your first payout, we want you to celebrate with you. But as far as I am concerned, guys, your first payout from a Tradeify account is not the end of your trading journey. It is the beginning. Everything before that is the prelude.
Yeah, being able to keep it too.
Yeah, next step after first payout, obviously 2nd, then a couple more, then you get moved to live, then you get coached by Coach Tank, and then you're unstoppable at that point.
Love it. I see someone, I think was it PMPFX asked, do you guys take trades from each other? And I think this one's interesting because I feel like we definitely utilize each other for I would say you guys are kind of my confluence too. I like to see your guys' analysis. Matt, you look at more of the bigger picture. Nick, I feel like it's like the three little bears, or Little Red Riding Hood, where it's like Mama Bear, the Papa Bear, and then like the just right one. And I'm obviously the just right one, but because
thanks for tuning into another edition of Tradeify. No.
Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah.
But anyways,
I need your fiance's number. I need to warn him what's coming later today. It's about to be a long day for my brother out there.
Yeah. But it is good. I feel like it is good to see all sides of it. Nick, you're like small time frame. Matt, you're like the larger one, and I'm kind of seeing like both of them. So that's where I was really going with that. Like I am the just right in like the middle of between you two, but I can keep going. I mean, it's okay.
It's nice to see the success isn't going to your head.
Well.
There's my answer to that.
You're only like 4'5". If your head gets any bigger, you'll topple over.
I'll take that one. I'll take that one. I'll let you have it. Oh man.
She makes money and shit talks her co-host. Yeah, all right, okay, that's fine.
Oh,
Next
man.
time the three of us meet up, you're paying for dinner.
Yeah, clearly.
Yep, she's getting me that Panda Express orange chicken.
Oh, that's gonna break the bank right there.
Oh,
Between that
God.
and Cracker Barrel, she might spend
You
$50.
can have anything you want.
I'll take a triple bowl.
She'll just be like,
whatever
"Yeah,
it's
that was
called.
2 ticks for me."
That's fun. It's fun.
She's
to
gonna
laugh.
walk into the next room, like her fiance is gonna be sitting on the couch. She's gonna throw a little cash on me. Hey, here, baby girl, buy yourself something nice.
buy yourself a little purple SVJ.
Yeah. Go put on go put on something cute for mom.
Yeah. Hey, go make me a sandwich. I'm hungry.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
I had to do it.
Oh, thank goodness we're down to our last 15 minutes here. This 2 hours ago, this would have been dangerous.
Yeah.
We're just gonna end the stream right before all three of us would get fired. It's wonderful.
Oh man! Wow, we really are chopping in this area though, guys. We're really not doing much here.
Nope.
We're trying to push up.
I mean, background Nick is in a long from 800. That was a pretty sick entry.
Nice.
So what's everybody up to this weekend? I want to hear in the chat what people have planned, especially if you're American. We want to hear what's going on for the 4th. If you're not American, why not you don't have to celebrate our independence, but go throw some meat on a grill, crack a couple of beers. That's what are you all up to this weekend?
Yeah, we want to know. I'm not really doing much. I don't think we're doing anything. 4th of July is just one of those days where you really just chill. You really chill. You don't do anything crazy.
As soon as this stream is done, I'm heading to the grocery store to get a lot of raw meat to throw on a grill.
Yum.
Well, if you're a real man, you eat that meat raw.
No, because then you end up like that Liver King, that fucking psycho.
What?
You didn't that you never heard of that guy? He's some health influencer who claims he eats raw meat, but then he admitted he's on a $10,000 a month steroid regimen, and he just went crazy, and he was stalking Joe Rogan and like threatened to kill him, and like the feds have him in custody now.
All right. Well, your career ended quickly.
Well, I mean, he really only appealed to a very, very certain crowd.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, if you hit that, like he was in, I don't know how old he is, but when your veins are like trying to run away from your body, that's how you know you
need a reality check there.
Yeah.
But I could never. You gotta get that medium.
I will say though, I do like my meat a little raw though. I do like it a little.
Oh, good medium rare fillet. Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah. If anyone's ordering well done, you guys you're pissing off some chefs. That's
true story. My mom's not a huge steak person, and shortly after she retired for the first time, she unretired a couple of times. I think she unretired more times than Tom Brady, but she and Brett Favre combined. But so they, my dad, okay, let's celebrate your retirement. And she really likes Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. We've been there many times. A gorgeous place. You've never been there. And so there's a nice kind of restaurant that has a steak menu. And my dad talked my mom into trying a filet, right? A really nice filet mignon. And so, but she, like all the years, like when my dad or, when I got a little older, me are cooking stuff on there, like she wants her burger well done. Okay, that's fine. I like my burger with a little pink, but if it's no pink, I'll eat it. And so the waiter says, man, I'll take the filet. How would you like that done? She looks at him and goes, well done.
Fuck.
The waiter just looked at her for a second and said, I'm not going to do that. I said, no.
No way.
I'm not going to do that. He said, I will bring it to you medium. And if you do not like it, I will take it back and put it back on the grill or get you something else for no charge.
Wow.
And she loved it. And yeah, but that was funny. He just looked at her and said, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you. I think he said, if I go back there and try to order a well-done steak, my chef is going to shoot me.
I mean, kudos, I guess. Kudos. And now your mom has a new flavor that she likes.
Yeah, she doesn't go. I mean, she doesn't order it a lot, but she will go. I took her to Morton's, the original Morton's in Chicago, and she did order medium rare and all that.
Okay.
But medium rare is awful, man. What? Come on, bro. No.
Wait, who said medium rare is awful?
Give me a good medium rare filet or ribeye. Beautiful.
Yeah. Filet, medium or medium rare, both works.
I'll eat medium, but if there's not a good pink center, I'm sending it back.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I'm with that. I'm with
Yeah,
that.
Tanner, that's a good one. Medium well for burgers. Yeah, if I want the slightest amount of pink, but it needs to be hot. I agree with you. Yeah, ground
would
beef
agree
you can't undercook.
Mm-hmm.
Ground beef, chicken, you can't undercook those.
Oh,
Or
no,
pork,
not the
especially.
chicken.
Nope.
Not the chicken.
Medium rare bacon, ew. That I will agree with. Yeah.
Nah, bacon like super duper well done.
Extra crispy.
Extra crispy.
Yeah, Morton's is good. We have a Roost Chris near us, and then we have a couple independent ones that I've been to. Roost Chris is good because our my fiance and I have a joint credit card, and that we use for a lot of big expenses, and their rewards are great. So we get once a month $100 like Roost Chris gift card. So we'll just go down there and spend it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Talk about beer or meat in the chat, and Drew shows up immediately.
Yeah, look at it. There's Drew.
Yeah, when we talked about beer, he was like, yep, and then meat. Oh yeah, no.
He said, "No, I want
medium rare burgers."
Roost Chris
Drew?
is fine. It's not overrated. I'm assuming you meant overrated. Is it as good as some of like a good independent place like Chop House and no, those are a little bit above. But Roost Chris is fine. It's a decent meal. If you want great Italian food though, you go to the Hill in St. Louis here. Oh my goodness. It is the best Italian food I've ever had. The Hill is where all the Italian immigrants settled when the city was expanding during the World's Fair and all that. And yeah, it is. Stand on a corner and just turn around, you'll see 8 Italian restaurants, and they're all fantastic. Any place opens up there and it's shitty Italian food, like I literally think the Italians show up and run them out of town. Be like, hey, you gotta fucking go, okay? You gotta get out of here. We only
call
take
my brother Tony. You know.
yeah, Tony. Yeah, we gotta have. It's only good Italian food on the Hill. You get the fuck out of here with this Fazoli's crap.
It's mozzarella, not mozzarella. Get out of here.
Mozzarella.
Actually, true story. My parents just landed in Italy like an hour ago. I just got a text.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So they're in my time
Probably.
zone now, huh?
They are, and it was hilarious because what is my mom researching for the trip? Of course, she wants to learn a little language at customs. She's how much wine can I bring back from Italy? Like how much can I get through customs?
He's asking the right questions.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, those are the right questions. Absolutely.
Most
Absolutely.
important
That's awesome.
All right, guys. Well, it has been a great short week for us here at Tradeify TV. We've had, again, guys, if you missed Coach Tank yesterday, that is your homework for the next 4 days. Sometime in the next 4 days, put that on in the background. Again, we will not be streaming tomorrow or Friday. So we will be back with you for a full show on Monday. We definitely want to thank Vola for being here today. Outstanding guest, outstanding content. Oh, it's just, guys, it feels like a full week because we packed so much good stuff in there. Miriam has another week of making the NQ her bitch. So it's just been a great week, guys. And we see the numbers. We're growing very steadily here. Our subscribers are growing. I feel confident the next 2 to 3 weeks we're going to be able to move up a spot on the prop firm rankings and make no mistake about it. We're coming for number 1. You can tell them I said that. So thank you guys for watching another edition of Tradeify TV. We'll be back at full strength on Monday for a full week with a full week of guests. Background Nick will be back from the quarterly meetings, and guys, we're putting the pedal to the metal for the rest of 2025, and we're not looking back. So get on board for the ride, and I want you to be able to say, hey, when we're number 1, you can say, hey, I was riding with these guys from the beginning. Thanks very much. We love you. Nick, take it away.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here today again. Can't wait for Monday because now we need to wait quite some time. I don't know how many marbles races I'm going to do over the weekend, but it's for sure going to be good. Maybe do some with my family, with my cats, And
I also want to warn my fellow co-hosts, I'm going to be drunk texting you all weekend. So
Oh,
I hope
boy.
you're ready for it.
I'll be here for it.
Go for it. But hey, just a quick shout out to Swing as well here in the chat. You tried, man, but I'm number 1. I'm the number 1 fan of Tradeify TV. Sorry about that. So thank you guys for being here. And as usual, let's actually end the stream with our one and only 10K Queen, Macho Mommy.
Wow, thank you. Does that deserve a new nickname? I kind of
Yep.
like that one.
I figure Queen you are now.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. I know it was a short week. I know we won't be able to see each other till next week on Monday, but I hope you guys have a safe 4th of July weekend if you do celebrate, and make sure that you are staying safe in more ways than one, right? We did, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it, but we wish you all a very, very, very safe, happy 4th of July weekend. And as always, make sure that you are practicing gratitude. Make sure that you are spending time with loved ones and family, because there is more to trading than just making money. Okay, so go practice gratitude, send a gratitude text, take your hot girl walk, go enjoy your hot dogs, whatever it is, your medium well, medium rare, however you enjoy it. Okay, go experience life and love life. And we will see you guys next week, bright and early on Monday, 8:30 Eastern. We love you guys. Go be great. See you then.
See ya.